Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the PALANTIR Q1 2023 earnings. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here. It means the world to me that you are spending the next couple of hours with me analyzing one of the most interesting companies in the world. As always, we've got a blazer, a hoodie, the scarf, the hat, and the backward headphones, because that's the way you got to do it on earnings day. That's the way you got to do it. Now, we are about 15 minutes away from results on earnings. So pretty excited to get started on it and see what we've got going on. Analysts are expecting one thing. The rest of us are expecting something else. So we're going to kind of see where it all goes from here. Let me pull up what the analyst expectations are. We're going to see the stock move in live action as the report comes out. And then we're going to get some numbers. And then, once we get the numbers, we'll then be able to go a little bit more deeper in terms of seeing what we, what's going to end up happening. Jeff, thank you for being here. Alec, Caio Perez, Philip, John Stevens, George, Ahad. Salute from Mexico. I love it. The new Palantir demo. Yes, it is going to be big. We're going to see what they're going to say. Where's the champagne? Well, wait, no champagne yet. We got to see what happens. Now, I did put out a tweet today saying, earnings in the grand scheme of things don't mean anything because, they matter, right? But if you're in the company for 5-6 years, you're going to have some bad quarters. It's going to happen. But it's like an album, right? It's like an album release party for your artist. And who, in the financial media space, we're blessed to have artists, put out albums 4 times a year. And whether the songs are good or bad, and their songs are not going to be great, right? If you're an artist, put out 4 albums, you're going to have some crappy albums because generally it's usually 1 album every 2 years. So if you do it 4 times a year, you're going to be excited for your artist putting out songs regardless of if the songs are good or not. And that's why it's super cool to be excited for this. Arnie, thank you for being here. Gabar, what's up? Maro, Supplement, Everclear, what's up? Adam, hello. Now let me share with you guys this. Love that scarf. See, I'm happy there's some love on the scarf. Palantir Technologies, Bloomberg estimates EPS adjusted of 0.03 cents, EPS gap negative 0.01 cents, revenue 506 million, net income 85, operating profit 94, EBITDA 99.3 million. So the street is expecting us to lose money and not be profitable on a generally accepted accounting principles basis this quarter, which is reasonable for the street to expect that. The whole question is, can we surprise the street? Which is what we did last time. We surprised the street. Stock went up 30% in 2 days. I am on the record saying if the stock goes to $9, $10 or something, I do think it will be sold off. I do not think it will sustain itself, not in this macroeconomic environment. I think the Fed has to pause rate cuts, and then we're going to see more of a sustained rally, and Palantir has to put up probably another 2 quarters of GAAP profitability for institutional investors to really feel excited, because then the S&P 500 conclusion is, more likely than not going to happen. But I think it's going to be a while. We have sustained rallies of $8, $9, $10. We will see. The other thing that I'm looking forward towards is stock-based compensation and seeing if it's going to start coming down. We're going to have Chris joining in a little bit. He's going to be able to talk a little bit about that. He was doing some due diligence with me this morning, diving deeper into some of the numbers. Remember 2 things. The Glassdoor reviews that we saw were salespeople feeling that Palantir didn't compensate them fairly, which we all thought was a negative, but in some way that could be a positive in terms of reduction of stock-based comp and for them saving to get to GAAP profitability, along with the interest they're getting from short-term treasuries. Plus, they laid off 75 jobs, I think, a couple months ago. And so they have been trying to be a little bit more fiscally conservative in the UK. And so that's going to be interesting as well. Let's Chris and me are talking right now on WhatsApp. He thinks SBC is going to take a hit downwards. He'll be on in a little bit. So it's gonna be super cool. We'll see what happens. Hate to say if Palantir shoots a 10, I'm selling up. Look, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. There's probably people who've loaded up a ton currently, right? And just for this earnings spike, and if the earnings are going to spike, then they're going to take their money and then they're going to move on. And so that is absolutely fair for people to do that. We are just going to see kind of where it goes from there. And cool. So we have, 11 minutes until earnings are released. Let me go into Webull right now and take a look at the stock, and then we'll get deeper there. Thank you, 325 people, for being here. It means the absolute world to me. I appreciate it a lot. The only request I have is please follow the Twitter. I'll be live tweeting everything that goes on in earnings. The only thing I ask of this entire stream today is if you are not following on Twitter, please follow on Twitter. And that would mean the world to me. All right, here we go. Let's go to Palantir. This is what I'm going to watch in real time. So this is what I'm going to leave up while earnings come out at 4 p.m. So in the next 11 minutes. And I want to see kind of where it goes from here. Look, the interesting thing about the rally today, the little up 4%, I don't know. Look, we hit 584 back then in January. I don't know if this rally is because something leaked or because some people think a certain way about what's going to happen in earnings, but there's definitely a little bit of a reason for why it's up 5%. They might be a little sell the news as soon as it pops, or it might be sustained in and of itself. But these things are a little, they signal something before earnings happen, even if you can't read too much into them. I also want to show a Fox News video that came out today talking about Palantir. There was someone today who was pretty excited about it. Let's take a look at this. This guy's been excited about the stock for a while, but let's just hear his thoughts. Quick 45 seconds, then we'll get back into it.
This stock, I'm not really sure what this company does. I think it's a big data analytics company, but beyond that, I don't know. But you like it.
I do. This is one of those stocks that I think investors are going to kick themselves in the rear end years from now if they don't swoop in now and buy shares. It's been around for 20 years. It makes the engine that drives big data. So much of the development we're seeing today with regard to health, military intelligence, semi-autonomous vehicles, many things are coming from the manipulation of huge data streams. That's what this company does, and it allows investors and clients to make connections between data that they otherwise couldn't do. I think it's totally undervalued.
Palantir, you love this stock. I'm not really sure what this.
So there you go. You've got people on Fox that are a bit excited for the earnings. And now we're just going to see kind of where it happens. Love you, Mick. Keep up the great work. Growth Stock Wizard. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Growth Stock. I appreciate you, man. Means a lot. Doom Shalat. Yeah, we've been missing you, Doom. Now you are here. Thank you for being here. Hello, my friend Reza. What's up? What's up? Let's go back into Weeble. Is Sasha streaming earnings? Because he usually tends to do it. I don't know if he cares anymore about Palantir. He did at one point. Is he even gonna try to stream earnings? I still love Sasha, by the way. He's a cool guy. He just doesn't care about Palantir anymore, but he's a cool guy. Yeah, I guess he's not streaming earnings. Okay. What else do we have? So we have about 8 minutes. Driving home, listening. Midwest, what's up? Emmanuel, thank you for being here. I'm watching this in the shower. So you're saying I make you wet. That's basically what you're saying. Stephen Ferrilio, the narrative needs to change around what Palantir does. Yeah, look, there was a great post by BP in their earnings. BP put up record numbers, absolutely monster numbers. And BP essentially said that their price to find oil, like the barrels per oil or gallons of oil, was like $14. And with Palantir and their entire digital transformation, that went down to $6 due to, Palantir. That's why they bought 1% of the company in 2021 when they really saw, what they were doing here. Let me read it right here. Let me show you guys this. And we'll get here. So this is what we have. It's a little hard for me to zoom in, but he says, I think the number was $14 a barrel back in 2012. Then we spent years and years streamlining all our data thanks to our help from Palantir, and that number has gone down to about $6. So it's not a black box, as Steven was saying. It's something legit. It's something big, and they're doing some dope stuff. We have a special guest in the building with us, ladies and gentlemen. The one, the only, my guy, Mr. Bergman. What's up, baby?
East side, baby. How's everyone doing?
What's up? Adam Bergman.
Guys, I just want to let you know, we have two bullies in the Palantir community. You got Tom Nash, who's stealing 1,100 Palantars watching. And then, of course, you got my man, the comeback king, Mr. Amit, who has nearly 400 people in his live. I couldn't even do a live, bro. I had like 4 people in my live. I'm like, fuck this. And Arnie's about to do his. I'm in here. I'm going to jump around. I'm going to do a Chris. I'm going to pimp myself out today. Chris is the Palantir whore, bro. Every time somebody, no disrespect, we're just joking. Every time he's like, yo, I'll pop in. I'm going to Arnie's. I'm going to the. Anyway, shout out, everybody.
I love Chris. Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you being here. Going to be super fun. What are your raw thoughts on what you're expecting for earnings? How do you feel?
Honestly, I think something's behind the scenes. It's so weird that Palantir is up for the day so strong. You would expect this would be aftermarket, like after earnings. Look, it might be hopium, but in reality, we didn't get too many, official contracts, right? In this quarter, usually there's so many more. I'm thinking there's something brewing in the background. I'm thinking me and your argument for gap profitability because of that S&P 500. Not to say we won't get gap profitability, but I think it's kind of broken, right? There's a back and forth between consecutive and cumulative.
Yeah.
And somebody gave an example.
It might be cumulative. I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, because somebody actually gave an example of a company that was able to. So, I'm on your camp. I was with you, but I think we're gonna get something. I mean, it's so weird that there's so many shares being bought like during regular trading hours. It's like somebody knows something. Guys, insider trading happens. Despite what everyone thinks, it happens all the fucking time, right? You can curse now. You get monetized, by the way.
Wait, really? You can curse?
Yeah. YouTube
You get monetized.
You get monetized. So YouTube changed their thing. If you don't excessively curse, like bomb, and it's not in the first 7 seconds, you get monetized because the YouTube creators got really, really mad because YouTube was like killing their monetization. Can we give a moment of praise for those sexy legs?
Oh, these legs, they're not sexy.
We saw it, bro.
Yo, this outfit is crazy, bro. I'm out here. I'm just like, you know what? You got their shorts on.
Who wears shorts?
It's ridiculous. Oh, they are
shorts.
They are shorts. Shout out to 569 people.
Yes.
Freaking building Adam's channel. I just put it in the chat. I'm putting it one more time in the chat. Please make sure to check him out. Great finance content, Algorand content, Bitcoin content, Palantir content, all that stuff. Adam also, for those that don't know, is an investor in my startup, Audia.io.
Yes.
So I met him
love him working
for a year, which has been amazing. So it's just kind of crazy how long it's been.
So it's funny. I was talking to one of my buddies who ended up getting into Palantir, like DPO, like at the DPO, pre-DPO. Basically, we invest with the person that I try to put you together with for Audia and stuff.
Yeah.
And at one point, he had like 20K shares, and I was like, "Well, I got da." He's like, "Adam, you're crazy," because at one point he had a lot more than me, and I'm like, "Yo, this is conviction, right?" So
yeah.
I don't know.
Adam, how many shares do you have now? Can you tell everybody?
I have more than 10,000 and less than 100,000.
So let it be known to the 600 people here, this guy has 10,000 shares. That's why I said you guys should subscribe to his channel, because the guy knows what he's talking about when it comes to Palantir. 10,000.
But yeah, I believe in the company, and I like that they're really pushing towards this AI play. They're fine in playing the game. Yes. Carpito was doing a bunch of different interviews, and now they just got to bring it. Their numbers are going to be shit today. 13% year-over-year growth, 14%. That's what's expected. Obviously, we're not getting 30%, so if they lean into this gap profitability, it might even everything out.
Do you think we get gap profitable? Do you, like, gut feeling? I think we actually show EPS of gap net income. Do you think that happens or no?
You think that we're going to get gap profitability today?
Yes, I think this quarter we get gap profit.
I believe so too. Like in this earnings right now, that's about to happen.
Okay, yeah, I think so too. I think revenue is going to be around 506. Maybe beat a little bit on the low side, but I think gap we beat. I think we get.
Look, there's a gray area, but I remember that when Carp was with that Lango, the young guy, young Palantir founder. You know who I'm talking about, right? The short-haired guy.
Lonsdale?
Yes. He blabbed out that Palantir has 1.5 billion in T-bills.
Yeah. I think they're gonna. Yeah.
People are saying that's Carp's money. I don't know. That's like all of Carp's money. He wouldn't put it all in it, but I don't know.
What are they doing with 2.6 billion in cash if they're not making money off it? There's no way they're not.
Ahmed, that would bring in 18 million for this quarter if you factor in.
Close. That's close. They got 30 million last quarter net income. If all they need is another 30, 35, then you're halfway there.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Shout out Arnie. Carpito, I got to steal it from you. That's just the way I talk. I'm from Brooklyn. That's how we talk.
That's how we talk. Okay, so it is 3:58, 3:59 now. We have 60 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Also, congrats to Adam on getting hymns right. I mean, that one is you got a two hundo one on that one. So
more. I was in
more
there
than 3 hundos.
3.5, man. I was arguing with people. I personally use them, and I think it's gonna keep going. I mean, we'll see what happens.
All right, so now we are just waiting. Webull is up on the screen. We're going to see the stock move in real time. Thank you, 697 people being here. I'm loading up CNBC to get, or actually I should go to their website. That'll be way more efficient to get the raw numbers. And we should see very soon what we've got going on. Here we go. Palantir news. It's going to be here soon. I'll ring the bell once it ends. We got 13 seconds till time to ring the bell.
Shout out to Doom Shalat, man. Shout out to Doom Shalat. Yo, do you remember when Vice quoted him and they're like, yo, this guy to the moon, Palantir?
That was the most epic moment ever. Like, oh, Palantrillion, thank you, Jay, for being here. Appreciate you.
Yes,
Appreciate
Jay, OG, baby. Who was
the market's
first?
closed, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Now
Was it Palantir Vision and Jay the first two? Were they like the two?
Probably the first two people to really on YouTube start talking. And Cyberfam, he was there. So.
Jay, were you before or after Palantir Vision?
He might have been a little bit after, maybe, but it was around the same time. Erwin, what's up? Thank you for being here. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. We don't have any stock price action yet. We don't have any news yet. We are still waiting. And so now we wait. It's going to be a couple of minutes of us waiting until these numbers officially come. And once we get those numbers, we get it. One request, please follow the Twitter in the description. I'm going to put Adam's Twitter there as well. Please make sure to check that out. We're going to be live tweeting, both of us, everything going on in earnings. So please, 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 if you are here, follow the Twitter account. That is the one thing I ask of you from this live stream. Thank you, 823 people being here. And Adam, about to put your Twitter there as well.
I appreciate that. You do my finance Twitter at least. I got like 20 followers.
Is that the one I'm DMing you with, or?
No, the other one, Adam Berg. Bro, it doesn't even matter, bro. I'm not even serious about YouTube. I'm like stepping away from this shit anyways.
Stepping away from YouTube? That's another discussion. We got to have another one.
Anytime.
All right, so we don't have the numbers yet. It's up 0.84%. Again, I'm refreshing. I do not have numbers yet. Financials, quarterly results, nothing. So it might be a couple more minutes.
Oh, so easy not to stream. You do all the work. This is awesome. This is fucking great. Love it.
Oh, man. What do we got? I don't follow the stock, but I want to see people's reaction to it. Well, there's a bit.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say there's a big community on. I mean, what other stock other than Tesla has this many people in a bear market caring about Palantir? You know?
I got 15 contracts for this Friday.
For Palantir?
Yes.
No, Adam's so rich, he just likes to gamble. Like, I hate this motherfucker. Just loves to gamble about this shit.
All right, let's go, bro. Please. I will even post it. One moment. I will tell you right now. 1 second.
Guys, refreshing. Still no news yet. I'm
650
waiting.
is my strike.
Okay.
And can you see it?
Hold on. Let me see. No, it's wait. Let me stop sharing.
You're the king now. You're the king of.
Oh, no, I can't see it. You post a screenshot and then I'll put it on Twitter.
All right, cool.
My DMs. Okay, so we're up about 1%. Again, still no numbers yet. This is gonna either skyrocket or collapse once we get those numbers. Thank you, 1,000 people being here in the chat. It means the world. Please like, please subscribe, and please follow the pinned Twitter account in the description and in the chat. It's up. All right, it's up. Here's the numbers.
Let's go.
Should be up. I don't see anything on my end yet, so I'm still waiting.
Going up after hours, it looks like.
It's up a bit after hours. Still no numbers yet, guys. I'm refreshing. Still no quarterly results, nothing. So we're still waiting. Granted, it's 4:03, right? It's like we're just all some heathens for these numbers. I made a tweet about my sister the other day, and I showed it to her, and she was like, "You tweeted about me?" I was like, "Yeah." And I called her out on not putting her 40,000 into a high yields, Robinhood SoFi account. And I was just like, "Look at the engagement. Engagement."
I put in 40 grand into that Robinhood account.
Yeah, easy, almost 5%. Easy, almost 5%.
It's really good.
It's beautiful, and like that, I was like, you need this public embarrassment, even though no one knows who you are, to like do this, and she's still not going to do it, unfortunately. So
people don't want to listen, bro. People don't want to listen. When First Republic was giving out $100,000 no verification loans, like no collateral loans, at 2.5%. How can you not do that? Nobody wanted to listen.
Nope. No one wants to listen. Guys, numbers are not out yet. I'm still waiting. So
2.5% after hours.
We're up 2.5% after us. Okay.
3%.
Someone knows something. Bloomberg must. So what's happening right now is the algos got the numbers
4%.
before us. The algos got it, and they know something. We have not gotten it yet. That means
Come on, 4.2, 4.4.
It must be decent if the algos got it. They know something.
Come on, 5% after hours. 8%, 9%. 8?
Damn,
9. 9.6.
Right, so the numbers have to be good, but it's
bro. It's about the 10%.
510 million. Let's fucking go.
What happened?
Let's go. It's 510. I didn't get the numbers yet. Someone put it in the chat. I hope they're not lying. That's a beat. That's a nice beat, man. That's a nice beat. Okay, I still don't have the numbers, guys. They're not out yet.
Well, we were supposed to have 556, right?
We were supposed to have 503 on the low, 507 on the high. So that's 510 is nice, man. I mean,
give us the gap, bro.
That means we got. I think we should get guys. Does anyone have a link? I don't have a link, so I'm.
You got to go into the news of
I'm there,
investors.
I'm there. It's still not up there. Still not up there.
Let me help you a little bit.
Wow, 11%, not bad. Gap profit, we got it. Anyone? I was expecting 510. Oh fuck. Okay, so it's not.
Oh, okay.
But it's up 11.3%. So. All right, excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. It's not 510. If it was 510, though, that would be a big beat.
Bro, what's going on here? Look, 13%.
Wall Street likes it. So the street likes it. We don't have the... Hold on. I think the numbers I'm coming. Oh, here it is. We got it. We freaking got it.
What did we get, Amit? What did we get?
We got gap profitability.
Amit, did we really? How much is it?
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen.
What?
Get into it.
Get it.
All right, so we got a cart. Let's go through it. We are profitable again this quarter, and we now anticipate that we will remain profitable each quarter through the end of the year. Let's go, Carp. Let's go.
Look what he said. Look at the AI. Look what he said. Look at the AI.
What do you say?
Look at the AI. The depth of the engagement.
The depth of engagement with and demand for our new AI platforms without precedent. That's what
Bro, 17 million. Where do you think they got it?
All right.
18 million from the T-bills. Bro, you think I'm fucking with you, right? That's exactly that 18 million. That's what got it.
Yeah, you called it. You literally said 18 million on top of 1.5 billion, right? That's the 3%. Okay, so let's take a look at this. GAAP net income of 17 million. This marks our second consecutive quarter, and they expect it to happen throughout the whole year. Look, in my earnings prediction video, I said it would be stupid for them to say this S&P 500 blah, 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 and not get profitable. They knew what they were doing. They got profitable, and they're going to remain that. GAAP income from operations of 4 million, representing a margin of 1%, up 1,000 basis points. Yes, because they weren't they were 0% last time, so that's awesome. GAAP earnings per share, EPS of 0.1, adjusted EPS of 0.5. Total revenue, 18%. So far, we sandbagged.
Oh, wow. 525, bro. 525 million.
Wait. Wait, hold on. It's 520. Wait, the quarter brought in 525?
Right there. Am I wrong? Total revenue grew 18%.
My guy,
we were expecting 13.
We were expecting 506 on the high side. Tell me I'm not wrong about this.
Bro, you're not wrong.
Holy guacamole. 525 is a beat. Where's the stock right now? Where's the stock? The stock, oh, wow, there you go. Yeah, up 14%. The stock should be up. That's 525. Morrow, thank you for the super chat. Means a lot. $2. All right, let's keep going. U.S. revenue, 23%. Not bad. Not bad. Commercial revenue, 15% year over year. Okay, so this one's a little bit low. This one's low. Commercial revenue, 15% year over year, 236. U.S. commercial. Wait, no. 15% year over year means it's still on track to be about 60% compounded with the quarters. Hold on, I got to do the numbers on that. But so
I'll pull up the last one to compare. Hold on.
Yeah, pull up the last one, Adam, please, because commercial revenue last quarter. No, he was saying last year grew 67%, full year. So as long as it's 15 to 20 a quarter, I believe it should be.
Yeah, it went up because U.S. commercial revenue was 12% last quarter.
Oh, perfect.
And commercial was only 11%.
So commercial's 15 and U.S. and what was U.S. commercial last quarter?
12.
So that's 26. That's up 14%.
And U.S. revenue is 23. It was 19. It was 19.
Okay, so that's not bad. We'll get deeper into that. Government revenue grew 20% year over year. That's not horrible. U.S. government revenue grew 22%. Again, I got to see the charts.
22 matches last quarter. It was last quarter for government was 23 total, but U.S. was 22.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Government customer count grew 41% year over year. I think that's higher than
we had 55 last time.
Okay, you're right, 55. Okay, so that's not bad. Still above 40. That's not bad. And 7% quarter over quarter. That one's a little low. 7% quarter over quarter is definitely low. We'll get into that. U.S. commercial count increased 50% year over year. This is when Karp was saying U.S. commercial is growing like a weed. So that is correct.
We had 55.
155.
And last time we had 55.
Hold on, that's not bad. 103 in Q1 last year to 155. That's not bad. That you can't. I mean, that 50% growth is nice there. It's not bad at all. Cash from operations 187, 36% margin. Adjusted free cash flow 189, represent 36 margin. Wow, 2.9 billion.
Bro, our margins grew like crazy. Our margins were only 15 last time. 15.
So I was gonna say something about that, but I wasn't sure. You sure it was 15? I thought it was like 22. The operating
adjusted income from operations of 114, representing a margin of 22%. Cash from operations of 79 million, representing 15%, and adjusted free cash flow 76 million, representing 15%.
And you're pulling up the last one from last quarter, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, there we go. Let me see the SBC. Is that here? Is that here in this one? No. Okay, well, let's see the guidance. So revenue of 528 to 532. Okay, so Q2 revenue growth quarter over quarter is very small, but they beat on the 525. So 525 to 528 is nothing, but they beat from 525 to 506 was expected. So not too bad. Adjusted income of operations 118, GAAP net income. Full year 2023 revenue of 2.18. So they still expect revenue to be 17%. GAAP net income in each quarter. That's a big one. GAAP net income in each quarter, which means S&P 500.
Bro, S&P, bro. We got it. High five. We got
2025. High five.
We got it, bro.
2024 S&P 500 is coming. Absolutely, it's coming. Adjusted net income of operations of 506 to 566. Yo, this is not bad.
Bro, this is the first time we were up in 4 quarters, like not down. This is the first time we actually went up in revenues at all, like growth. In something.
Stock's at $9, man. Stock's at $9. Now, granted, I do not.
You cut out.
You. Oh, can you hear me now?
Now we could, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Granted, I don't think this is gonna sustain itself at $9. Wow, 908. That's
bro, 16% up.
But I look. If you bought it at $7 and you made a little bit of a bet and you're up, I mean, it's not the worst day. It's not the worst day. That's awesome, man. Wow, I am up a lot of dollars right now. I am up very many dollars because
I wonder how those calls are doing.
Yeah, can we see some calls? Can we see some real calls? Sean, I'll take my yacht in pearl white. I love it, baby. I love it.
So woo! I was break even at 767, and now it's at around 910. It's showing.
You're up, baby. How much money did you put in those calls? Like a couple thousand?
I was buying around 100 plus or minus per call because I was buying 3 days in a row. I bought 5 calls because I was DCAing my options. And I almost pulled out today, bro. I was clinching my butthole. And when I was up because I was down, and then I was like, nah, let me hold on to it. And, bro, like, it's good. I'm excited. It's good. Guys, clap, bro. It's good.
Look, I was going to buy some calls this morning as well, but I knew we would get a gap profitable. I didn't expect it. The revenue 525, I didn't expect that. I'm going to be dead honest. I did not expect that one. That one was big. So that's awesome. I mean, congrats to everyone who made an earnings play. And admit you're still 50% down. Yeah, well, it's about the journey now to get back there, right? And that's the exciting part. All right, so we're waiting for the deck. Let's see if we got the deck, Adam. Financials, quarterly results. Do not have the deck yet, so we are looking for the deck. The deck should be out in about 10 minutes, I'd argue.
Bro, you want to laugh on it? You're gonna kill me. Do you know that I have over 100 other calls for PALANTIR? For leaps for 2024 and 25, bro. I was getting murdered. They're so down, those calls. I hope I make it back.
$20 prices, strikes?
Yeah, somewhere between there. A little bit more, some of them, but yeah, if we can get to $15, I should be able to break even on those calls, which is a shit ton of money, bro. Like tens and tens of grands. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, that is fair. That is fair. Okay, I got to do one more plug. Thank you to 1,500 people being in the chat.
Wow.
Please,
Did we beat Tom? Did we beat Tom?
Please, I don't know if we're being Tom, but please,
Bro,
please follow the Twitter. That would mean the world to me. It's pinned in the chat. That's the only thing I ask. The only ask I have is follow the Twitter. We work hard into putting out this content, and it would just mean the world to me if you guys could follow that account. I'm trying to grow that account, and that kind of dictates a lot of things. So please, if you don't have a Twitter, help Elon. Look, I'm a fan of him making sure we got rid of this censorship bullshit and we started a real free speech platform. Make an account. Help the guy out. Help him really beat back mainstream media. And while you're there, hopefully you can follow me and you can follow Adam. I'm putting him in the chat.
Yo, shout out to all the Palantards. Yo, we really need to celebrate. We're obviously excited because, bro, we don't get too many exciting days to celebrate. You know what I mean? So
we don't.
It's just, Jehan, I got between 10,000 and less than 100,000. And you can guess how much I have.
That's a lot. All right, so man, 525. Why do you think we got 525? Do you think this AIP, we got some beta tests and we got a little revenue from there? How do you think?
Bro, that's the main thing right there, that people are interested. And he was confident enough to say we're going to be gap profitable every quarter, which means he's preemptively telling people, if you guys weren't as smart as Amit and Adam saying that we're going to be in the S&P 500, well, now you know we're going to be in the S&P 500. That's what I think he's trying to say with this. I am very interested to see how Chris can be mad at this. That's first of all. Second of all, Chris, get my $2,000 ready, please. If you guys don't know, I have a bet with Chris.
It's at 920, bro. It's up 18%. Holy macaroni. Goodness gracious. It's up, baby. What was I going to... Me and Chris were talking today on WhatsApp, and Chris said, look, Chris is just a smart guy because... He said SBC is going to take a hit downward. I should have paid more attention to the annual report that came out last week. It's going to beat. He said it's definitely going to beat. He said this at 350. That's when he really started realizing this is going to happen. So I don't know if he bought calls or not because he was debating should I buy some calls, but when he realizes what's going on, he realizes.
He's smart. He's super helpful. By the way, there's no beef here. Like I love Chris. We talk like on the phone even. He's really cool, and he's a smart dude, bro. 22%, bro. 22%.
Oh, we're up 22%?
Up.
We're at 9.
And Hims is up. Can I shout out Hims, bro, for everybody that said that the trends are going down? And I was like, fuck what you heard. We're up another 5% aftermarket. Hims, thank you so much. 52-week high. Again, in a bear market. Everybody can suck it. Nearly 300% up.
Hims, baby. Wow. You know, I'm very familiar with erectile dysfunction, so totally understand.
Yes, sir.
I can't believe I just said that to 1,400 people. But anyway.
But can I say one thing about that? If it's don't sound, bro, they come out with little Hims mints that are Viagra mints, so you don't feel like an idiot taking a Viagra right before your date, right? But they make the non-cool, the taboo, sexy. If you know what I mean. But anyways,
no, I feel
no
you.
Hims.
Look, I just need to be up 4 times a year. So as long as Palantir comes out, I don't need Hims. I need some Palantir. I need some 525 revenue beats. That's what I need. Julian, thank you for the 10 pounds. I messed that up. It's definitely pounds. Up 900K now after hours. Thanks for the show. Is that profit or is that you're up 900K but you're still down something? Let me know. I'm just curious. Like, are you bouncing?
Who's this guy? How many shares does he have?
Bro, there are some people that watch these channels that have a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure. I've met in comments and stuff if it's true or not. 3 people.
Oh, we're 970, bro. What the fuck? Continue. Go ahead.
Nah, bro, I'm just excited, bro. Shout out, bro. Seriously, bro. Shout out to everybody. Really, shout out to everybody. Shout out.
The deck is posted. Letters. All right, the letters here. Thank you for the 50-pound super chat so much, D. Edwards. It means a lot making content and any of the super chats. I mean, it goes a long way. Not even because of the money, but just the support. So thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. Let's get into the letter. Let's get into this letter. Here we go. We got a letter. Let's get into it. This is Palantir shareholder or CEO, one of the larger shareholders, Alex Karp, and his letter. Okay, we were profitable again this quarter. In the period ending March 31st, 2023, we earned a net profit of $17 million according to GAAP principles. And now we want to anticipate that we will remain profitable each quarter through the end of the year. In addition, for the first time in our history, we earned an operating profit last quarter. Okay, not bad. We generated $525 million in revenue in the first quarter, a result that surpassed our initial guidance. and yet still underestimates the magnitude of the opportunity in front of us. And that's the key thing. Understates the magnitude of the opportunity in front of us. A couple more quarters might not be amazing, but there is a massive opportunity here, and this might be a good price to still get in if we're looking towards the long term. Q1 2019, 146 million. Q1 2023, 525 million. So about up, 4 or 5x since 2019 in about 4 years in terms of their Q1 revenues. The arrival of the latest large language models, which have provided the world with the first real hints of more generalizable forms of AI, will transform enterprise software. We were fortunate in that we began building years ago the foundational architecture that will be required in order to meaningfully leverage the power of these new technologies within the context of privately held data sets. It has now become increasingly apparent that the platform that combines the capabilities of foundational software architecture with those of the latest LLMs is essential in order for the models to evolve into something of transformational value for large organizations, governments, hospitals, companies, etc. And what we are building will become that platform. That is a definitive statement by your CEO, our CEO, that we are going to control the AI generalizable AI enterprise market. Now he talks about AI. The depth of engagement with and demand for our new AIP is without precedent. We are currently mobilizing our company and sales team in order to convert this organic and inbound interest into an expansion of our reach for the market. And I believe him when he says that because we saw how viral the product went, even Elon responding to it on Twitter, meaning people are stepping up to see what it can do. AIP enables enterprises across the commercial and government sectors to leverage the power of LLMs on their own privately held data sets. The first iteration of this platform will be available to select customers this month. We have already had hundreds of conversations with potential customers about deploying the software and are currently negotiating terms and pricing for access to the components of the platform. That means if this is a new product that has new demand, this 17% year-over-year growth that they have still guiding for, they didn't change their yearly guidance. Theoretically, one would have to put 2 and 2 together and say, if this is all this new demand and you're literally negotiating pricing, we should be able to beat 17% year-over-year growth to at least 24, 25. You would hope if these conversations go well and they can close these deals. The risks presented by the embrace of the latest and most advanced forms of generative artificial intelligence are real. We have intentionally designed our software around the involvement and oversight of human operations before action in the real world, including, for example, targeting operations in the military context, which can be taken. The machine must remain subordinate to its creator. There we go. The machine must remain subordinate to its creator. And a lot of companies feel the same, and Palantir is philosophically aligned with them there. We understand that the extent to which the democratic regimes ultimately attempt to curtail the development and more widespread deployment of these capabilities will be determined by the willingness and the ability of the software industry to construct the guardrails that both constrain their use and harness their power. We must also remember that the undemocratic regimes Russia, China, will not allow the development of AI to be seen as more consideration. That's a big fucking terrible. Undemocratic regimes will not compel moral standards in regards to technology that is.
You're coming out, Amit. They can't hear you. You're coming out. By the way, guys, 26% after hours. 26%.
Wow. You can hear me now? We're good?
Yes, sir. You got a
I
sexy voice.
was thinking it's a big deal. This undemocratic regimes that are not going to allow the development of AI to be restrained by moral ideas. Palantir is one of the unique companies doing that. Some of the largest incumbents in the technology industry who are presently witnessing their businesses being disrupted by LLMs similarly fail to recognize the importance of building software with a moral imperative. The business models of such companies at their core are required and dependent on the monetization of our most intimate and private information. He's talking about Facebook and Google. To constrain the use of such data would be to weaken the competitiveness of their underlying interests. The access controls and auditing capabilities that many eventually developed were only grafted onto their offerings after years of systematic exploitation of our personal information. We understood from the start, however, that protection of privacy was essential to our success, and as a result, the systems we have constructed, including AIP, incorporate protections at their core. The purported incumbents in this technology industry have not now been outpaced in the technical development of these novel AI capabilities, but have also become marginalized in the ethical discourse about their use. This is big stuff. This is big, 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 big stuff. All right, now we're getting into some numbers. Adam, can you check if the deck is out? Is the deck out yet?
I'll check.
No, it's not
When
out
he
yet.
says democratic regime, does he mean democratic process or the Democrats versus Republicans? That's my question.
He's talking about democracy. So he's talking about
Okay.
Russia and China, people that are dictatorial, authoritarian, right? That don't believe in that stuff. All right, let's get into some numbers. So the first 5 minutes of this letter, we still got a long way to go, was just about AIP. So I think on this earnings call, the AI is going to be talked about a lot. Okay, if that much is in the shareholder letter. Our momentum and growth in the US continues and reflects the speed with which American institutions are capable of embracing new technology. In the 12-month period ending March 31st, we generated $1.23 billion in revenue from customers in the US, representing a 28% annual growth rate over the $954 million we generated in the prior period. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. We'll look at the growth rates in comparison in a little bit when the deck comes out, but let's see that. We have achieved an annual growth rate of nearly 30% in our most important market, the US, during a period of significant macroeconomic uncertainty. That is true. US businesses willing to buy Palantir means that the macroeconomic certainty to make it a little bit more certain for their enterprises. And without the benefit of the broader awakening across sectors and industries to the potential of LLMs and other forms of generative AI, what he's saying there is 99% of the world has not woken up to LLMs or generative AI, and we still brought in this much money. So just imagine what happens when they do wake up to this. And we anticipate that the development of AIP will mark an even more significant moment in our advance. Sincerely,
It's not out yet.
It's not out yet.
Wow, this is great. So I have a feeling, mark my words right now that they have 2 gaps, and now that they beat, and they're saying we're going to get more gaps, I think finally Wall Street's going to wake up. We're going to get a bunch of upgrades, mark my words, and Palantir is going to be the face of artificial intelligence. That's what I'm saying. Now, could you imagine how much contracts they signed up or maybe got? I think AIP is what brought us on top, besides for the T-bills, because people were giving us like, deposits. I don't know what they're called officially, but like deposits on the thing.
Yeah.
And did you notice how many YouTubers, no hate, shout out, but how many people started covering Palantir? At least 5 new ones, at least.
Yes, correct. I mean, look, let's talk about that. So guys, we're waiting for the numbers. We'll talk a little bit about the community itself. First of all, I just want to give a shout out to the community, shout out to the 1,500 people here. Me and Adam have been here for a while. I would say late 2020 or late 2021, early 2022. And we've been on this grind. We've been developing this community. Some people say, why do you keep making videos about Palantir? To be honest, I don't want to make that many other videos about other companies. Like it's very rare you find a company. I mean, just read what company puts out a shareholder letter like that, where you're not just investing in tech, you're investing in tech used in a way that's changing the world. There's not that many companies in the world outside of Tesla, really, that get that type of coverage, or people are even inspired to cover. And so that's why we're on this journey, and that's why we do it. And the fact that there's an audience for it means the world. Yeah, I do see a lot of new channels starting, because I think these channels are recognizing that this is something interesting to cover. And remember, when Facebook started in 2005, people don't understand TechCrunch was almost built off the back. TechCrunch is like the biggest startup venture capital VC blog in the world. They were built on the backs of covering Facebook, because Facebook was changing everything in 2005. Like there were thousands and thousands of articles about Facebook, because there was never this type of social network that had, billions of people on it. And so I think Palantir is the same when it comes to AI. There's obviously a lot of other good companies, but Palantir is out there as well.
Bro, nearly 27%. Can I add one thing that people are not missing? So AIP is going to launch at the end of this month, if I'm not mistaken, or like right around here. And isn't Palantir about to do a Foundry Con out of nowhere, a third Foundry Con?
June 1st.
Right. June 1st, right. And Palantir, officially AIP launches at the end of this month. I don't know the exact date. So isn't it interesting that Palantir Foundry Con is going to go right after this AIP launches, and AIP is all the rage, bro. Straight up, fuck Bard, fuck ChatGPT. And if you guys missed it, I made a full video using ChatGPT, and this was like impartial. Like I was just putting the information. I think I used the word right. I just put information in, and ChatGPT literally said, Palantir AIP is as revolutionary for business and government as ChatGPT is for us regular users. That's ChatGPT.
ChatGPT told you that? ChatGPT?
Yeah, it's live. I did it live, Amit. Live. ChatGPT 4, by the way. I gave them the AIP letter. I explained to them, ChatGPT said, this is not exactly what we do. I said, can you please differentiate? And then I said, no, straight up. And I said, listen, is this useful for businesses since it's businesses' data? They said, absolutely. As businesses' data is used specifically for the AIP platform, this is revolutionary, just like ChatGPT is for everyday users. That's what ChatGPT said.
I love it.
I have a video to prove it. Chris is here, the bad guy.
Christopher Patel. We can see that Palantir logo in the back, baby.
I'm out. I'm leaving, bro. I'm leaving.
No. You can't leave. You got to be here.
Oh, man. I wish I could celebrate with. I really wish I could celebrate with you guys. Like, I had like a good.
No. I am gonna celebrate with you guys, but I wish I was on the other side of this because like right before earnings, like I was texting Amit. I was like,
He was texting me. He was like, "Holy
Yeah.
shit! I didn't read it correctly."
because
What's going
their
on?
annual report just came out like last week, right? So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me take a look at this real quick. And I was reading through, and I was like, man, it looks like they're actually cutting back on a lot of expenses. So that means that they're probably gap profitable. So I wrote to Amit. I was like, yeah, I think they're gonna definitely beat like crazy. And then I went to my Robinhood, and I was like, I literally looked up the prices of the calls that I was gonna fucking buy, and I was gonna
Bro, he
buy
texted
like
me
a
at
substantial amount.
349. That's how close he was to
And
buying.
I
Did you buy it or
didn't
no?
do it. No,
didn't do
I
it?
didn't. No. Yeah, I was chicken little with it, but I wish I had gone. And
Now
done
look,
it.
let me say one thing. Look, we're at 993. Might crash 10. We did this last time, and it got sold off last time as well. So I
Hey,
just
Adam,
want to.
can you mute your mic real quick? Let me just see. Is
I
it
got
me
it.
or is it you?
It was him. He was typing.
Okay, gotcha.
I just want to be a little bit cautious that we got CPI data. The market might sell it off, or the market might recognize that this shit is real and they might flood in tomorrow. It's one of two things. And, that's what we're going to see. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But now's the time to realize, do you want to take profits on calls you might have bought, shares you might have bought, or do you want to let it keep riding? But you have to decide.
I think, believe it or not, this might be a 2019 moment, very similar to Tesla, where, like once you go into that gap profitable mode, as long as you stay gap profitable, you're going to get the high valuation that you need, because their valuations have come down significantly since they IPO'd, right? So right now they're in a good spot. So let's see what happens.
Guys, we're almost 28%.
It's not bad, man. It's not the deck still isn't out, so I guess we're
28.2. Just saying. 28.5.
God damn it, man! I'm gonna be real mad if I have to borrow money from my wife to pay Adam Bergman.
Bro, 2K.
How much did you
So,
bet? Was it 2,000? Okay, Adam, can you explain the bet to people?
yeah, me and Chris have a bet, and I noticed that the last couple of times that I said, hey, Chris, would you like to up the bet to like a dinner as well? Chris conveniently is like, I'll see you guys later. No answer. So me and Chris have a bet, $2,000, friendly bet, straight up. Snowflake versus Palantir. I forgot when we started, but who's going to outperform?
August 17th. August
17th until December 31st. No after hours count of this year. Whoever's going to win, whether it's by a penny or a mile, 2K.
Yep.
So I don't know. How are we doing now, though? At one point, Chris was up like 40, 50%. It was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, Snowflake's been doing well too, so
Fuck Snowflake.
Maybe.
Fucking bitch ass Snowflake.
No, Chris was beating you for a while, but then then things just 992, man, 27%.
I just kept selling blood and semen, and I kept buying more shares.
Seriously, I just really hope Carp doesn't fuck it up on the call. That's all. Like Carp just needs to be very hey, we're doing good. That's it.
To fuck it up. There's nothing he can say.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a quarter. He's gonna be happy. He's gonna be smiling. Like, look, they did it twice. I mean, got profitable twice. He knows he's the shit right now. He knows he brought this company. Now, the revenue growth is not good quarter over quarter. That's for sure. But I think that's because there's two catalysts. AIP, the fact that they're negotiating these prices, Q3, Q4, most likely we're going to get those numbers in, which means full year 20, we might really get to 22% off 17. Second, NHS. We got $550 million coming soon over 5 years. That'll be $100 million added to the top line revenue. This year.
Two more catalysts. Two more huge.
Was that signed? Was that signed? The contract with the NHS?
No,
not officially.
October.
Not officially. We're assuming that it is going to be, right? But all attempts to stop it is not going through, right? We keep smashing them. So you have that one. That's possibly going to be $1 billion for 10 years because once they're using, once you go carp, you'll never go dark, right? You ain't leaving. The second catalyst is the Titan, which is possibly $1 billion contract as well. And the third catalyst is the $900 million Space Force contract that I estimated is going to go 250 to 300 million to Palantir. And there's a reason I'm saying that. I'm not just hopiuming it. I have a whole video on that. So, bro, technically Palantir has like $1 to $1.5 billion worth of contracts over the next, 5 to 10 years that we know of, the big ones. And that's going to open up the door for so many more contracts. So, I just want you guys to remember one thing. Fuck Snowflake.
Who's this guy, Adam? Who's this guy, Adam? Adam is motherfucking truth. That's who this guy, Adam is.
I'm just some guy from Brooklyn, man, and
Matt Money says he has
Amit
4K. Not enough. You got to get to Adam's level, Matt Money. You got to get to Adam's level.
Matt Money, bro. He's a G with dividend investing, bro. Like, I like to compare my shares, and then he has like Devo and Charles Schwab and Jeppy, and I'm like, damn, I gotta step my cookies up. He has a big portfolio.
All right, so this, yeah, he definitely does. This deck is still not up yet. Chris, what do you think got them the 525 million revenue beat? Like, what do you think they offered last quarter that got them?
The government revenue came in strong with, remember I told you guys when we were doing the Palantir Weekly that the government has this thing where they fucking pay you eventually. They don't pay you right away. I think some of that pay might have finally started landing in their coffers. So I just have to double check what the numbers are, but I think finally the government's like, okay, yeah, you've been giving out your services for free in Ukraine for a year. You know, let's start giving you some of that money in the background now. So maybe that's some of it that's coming along.
Okay.
The other thing is, I think that they're cutting. They did a good job in cost rationalization. One of the things that we saw in the Glassdoor reviews was like, oh, they're not paying us, salespeople, blah blah blah, all that shit. Well, they're probably now, if you think about it, they're probably not performing. So that's why they're not getting paid, right? If you don't sell, you don't get paid. Shut the fuck up, move on, right? So now you can see that they're taking that part into consideration. So it's no longer just about growth. It's about, we're going to make sure we grow, but make sure we're profitable, you know?
That is fair. That is fair analysis. Chris, you texted me this morning. It was like, oh yeah, like we forgot to realize the people on Glassdoor complaining, they probably got fired. And if they got fired or they didn't get compensated as well as they wanted for their commissions, then we saved some money, which is, not the worst thing in the world.
Someone's like, Chris, can you finally buy shares, bro? Honestly, I will start probably looking at this more. I want to hear what they say, but I will definitely start doing more DCAing into them. I am not in Palantir, unfortunately, but my wife is. My wife, I told her to sell and she did it. So she's the one fucking diving handy. Like I told her to, I was like, babe, maybe you should sell some Palantir. She's like, nah, fuck that. No.
Yes,
and she's
Mrs. Patel listens to Palantir Weekly and she doesn't, she understands why we do that podcast.
I gotta convince her to give me some of her Palantir money so I can pay Bergman at the end of the year. Thanks a lot, Frank Slootman.
Oh man. Thank you all.
I made a bet with Sasha, by the way, at the same time. Sasha did not take the bet. I just wanted everybody to know. I made a bet with Sasha, and he took the high road, and he's like, I don't gamble. I'm an investor. But, yeah.
Oh, presentation's out. Bro, I was refreshing the whole time. I did not see it. Let me see. Financials. Bro, it's still not out for me. It says Q4 2022 on my page. I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, it's not out for me.
I'll put it up. Hold on, let me see.
Oh, you got it?
Well, I'll look for it, but I'm good with finding it. So,
I mean, it's the same website. It's not like. Oh, hold on. I didn't change the fucking.
I'm gonna send you the link.
Oh no, but they don't have 2023 as an option for the.
Yeah, I'm giving it to you right now. Here's the link.
It's right here. I got it. Yeah, I got it already loaded. So I'll just share my screen.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. All right, so we've got 23 minutes till the call. Ladies and gentlemen, 1,600 people, thank you for being here. We got to go through some numbers. I want to give one shout out to another podcast I do called Finance Junkies. It is live every day. Adam, we got to get you on as a guest, by the way. If you want to come on tonight, you're welcome to be on. 10 p.m. every night we do this. 300 people have showed up live every single day, 5 days in a row. So we're building this podcast. It's really special. We talk about stocks Monday through Thursday and Sunday every time, 10 p.m. We're going to be talking about Palantir tonight. And we have two bears called Carlos and Vitaly, these like weird creatures that just don't like Palantir. They don't understand it. And you got Chris, who's like not a bear, but he's still skeptical. And then you got me, who gets gangbanged. I'm sorry I have to say that in front of 1,600 people, but every time we talk about Palantir. And so tonight, we get to reverse the table. So do not miss that. Finance Junkies tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern. You're going to enjoy it. Chris, you got it?
Yep, there you go. 3 p.m. Mountain Time.
So that's that'll be 5 p.m. March. Okay, go ahead. You can go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna put up just a chart from when me and Adam Bergman had our little thing. So let's see where we are. I haven't shared screen.
Why don't I see the numbers, bro? I don't understand why I can't see it on my side. It's so weird.
Okay, Adam. So can you put my screen up? All right, so this is Snowflake versus Palantir. Snowflake is here in orange at the top, of course. Let's put the dates in. So this was August 17th.
All right.
And today, go to.
Oh, I got it. It finally came up. There we go. There we go. There we go, baby. There we go. Financials, quarter.
I might have to stop sharing because it's like trying to load, I guess. It's like,
Hold on, guys. I'm pulling up the numbers. We'll pull it up, the presentation at least, and then you can put up the Snowflake thing there as well. All right, so here are the numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get through it. Let's see. Let's walk through this. We got 20 minutes, and then we'll get into the call. Okay, so their highlights. Second consecutive quarter GAAP profitability, GAAP operating profitability, GAAP operating margin up 1%, cash from operations. So we already know all these. We went through all these already, so we'll move on. So AI, ML stuff. We went through our shareholder letter. AI.
Your mic.
Sorry, guys. My mic keeps cutting out. Okay, should be better now. Introducing AIP, Gotham, Ontology, LLMs. I'll go back to
Beautiful.
Yeah, it looks so beautiful. I want to get into the numbers. Let's see here. Okay, GAAP earnings per share of 0.01 cents, up 0.06 cents year over year. We achieved GAAP net income profitability for second consecutive quarter. Not bad. We achieved GAAP operating profitability. Can someone explain the difference between GAAP net income profitability and GAAP operating profitability? Chris, you know the difference between those two?
it's just accounting.
Okay.
It's it's accounting. I'm trying to get this loaded real quick. Sorry.
Okay, we'll get back to that. So they were, I remember this chart. So they have been consistently losing money from their operations. Now they're making money from their operations and they're GAAP profitable. So last quarter, it was interesting. That means they didn't make money from their operations, which is like the actual putting two and two together, money from the business operations. They were doing that whole Palantir Japan sidestep thing, right, to get to those numbers. So this is the first time they made $4 million from actually delivering the business.
That's their revenue versus revenue minus cost of goods sold. Their hard costs, I think.
Correct. Operating is core business, not accounting. Thank you, Sean, for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. U.S. business generated revenue of $337 million for 3 months. So we're up 23% in terms of revenue growth, Q1 2022 to Q1 2023. Not bad. I mean, U.S. revenue is growing. Commercial revenue growth, 26%. Let me, while I'm doing this, I'm going to open up last Q4, and so I can compare it to that one as well. So I can show you the numbers. Okay, so let me go to this exact same slide from last year. So U.S. commercial revenue growth. U.S. commercial revenue growth.
Chris, you got an echo.
Is it me? Let's see.
Yeah, Chris has an echo. Okay, cool. So not bad. Government revenue growth, 20%. Commercial revenue growth, 15%. Commercial revenue growth, I think, is declining just a little bit. Again, I got to see the numbers in context, but government revenue growth is doing a lot better from what I remember. Last time government revenue growth was going down more considerably back in Q3 2022. Total revenue growth, 18% quarter over quarter. So if they do that every quarter, they're going to end up with 18%, which means they've got to beat for the next couple of quarters.
That's year over year. That's year over year.
Sorry, year over year. Sorry.
Yep.
Year over year. Average TTM revenue for top 20 customer up 14%. Do we like that? Do we like that the TTM revenue per top 20 is up? I would assume yes, because that means the software is working.
Well, it means that whatever their top 20 customers are paying a shit ton of money. I mean, $51 million to provide software. So the one thing I don't like about that chart, that specific thing, the top 20 customers, is probably they should probably divide that between commercial and government. So they probably have a lot of government contracts that are expensive. So it looks nice to see that, oh my God, look, per contract, we're getting this much. So, but it'd be nice to say, okay, commercial, this is how much we're getting TTM, and this is how much the change is. But then again, you also don't want to like project that out to the world that this is, this is how much we're spending. So I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Commercial customer count, 280, 184 last time this year, 280 this time this year. Our total customer count grew 41% year over year in Q1 2023.
Yeah, that looks like they're pushing down market. That's what they needed to do. They're finally doing it.
Why do they
You
need to
know.
push down market? Can you explain to people why that's so important?
Because if you only stick to like large customers, you're gonna pigeonhole yourself into only working with the biggest companies. Like you want to go after medium and small businesses that can use you. I'm not talking about your dry cleaners and stuff. I'm saying like companies that are like in the billion, 2 billion market cap range to all the way to like, 10, $20 billion market cap range. If you only go after like the big companies, eventually you're gonna run out of those big companies. So yeah.
Okay,
That's how they
understood.
take Snowflake's money, right?
Total contract value up 60%. Woo! That's a nice win.
That is probably the most impressive thing.
Why? Why? Why is that impressive?
Because that means
Sasha's
that
not going to be able to talk shit.
well, more than that, it's that the product is effective and it works, and it's actually generating more billing. Because this is what you want to see, right? You want to see constant growth in contracts, like because that's your total contract value of closed deals. So that means that whatever deals that they were doing, they're closing on them and getting customers in the door.
Yeah, that's not bad, man. I mean, that I didn't see
Not
that.
bad. That's fucking amazing, dude. 60%. That means it's a huge backlog now. Yeah.
Chris, question. Honestly, all jokes aside, would you say that this is the best earnings they had in the last, within the last year?
I'm gonna reserve my judgment until I see their presentation. Only
That's
because
fair.
enough.
That's fair. That's
yeah,
fair.
Yeah, that's
only
fair.
only because a lot of times the slides can look very optimistic.
That
And
is
then
true.
when the CEO speaks, they want to make sure that they see. My whole thing is not that Palantir was like a flat company or dying. It's just that it's going to be a slow trudge higher, right? And I honestly think that that's the case that's going to happen, where you're going to see Palantir. I know some people in the chat are like, Palantir is going to the moon tomorrow. It's going to be $100 tomorrow. This is not a Tesla-like situation. You're going to have to be in this company for the long haul. But if you have the time and you have the patience, this could be a generational opportunity.
Correct. But the one caveat to Chris's argument is that if AI actually is this exponential growing force, and that the government not only needs it, but businesses need it, and Palantir is the only one that can do it safely.
Your mic.
Fuck, bro. Why is my mic? All right, I'm gonna fix it in a second. Then I'm gonna
So,
Yo, you know what? Fuck all you guys that are boot Chris, dude. I'm the only one
Chris
that's
is
been
great.
keeping it fucking real with everyone for the longest time. All right, so
we're not booting
all the
Chris.
people,
Guys,
all the people that want to just say shit, dude. Fuck all of y'all.
let's just be real. Chris has been here the whole time. He always supports. And, bro, mad people message me how Chris is mad nice, mad helpful on the sidelines to people. I speak to him all the time. He's a nice guy. He's not a cheerleader. He's straight up. He's honest one way or the other. And plus, he's been here for a long time. I respect him.
That is correct. And Chris is not going anywhere. So everyone saying that can shut the hell up. The other thing, like I just laugh at that stuff. The other thing is, again, I do think there is a Tesla-like S-curve. It is unlikely. But it is possible if a lot of things play out. And that's why I think Chris has been conservative comparing it to Salesforce versus Tesla. 64 deals of 1 million, 22 of 5, 8 of 10. More mid-sized deals, right, Chris?
Yeah, exactly. This is what you want to see. Them pushing down market so that they can grow their total pie. The further down market you go, the total addressable market you'll be able to serve. So they probably figured out how to scale the platform, right? That's the other thing. Like everyone's been see, this is what I'm saying, man. Some people are just assholes on here. He's still a coward that couldn't take the pain. Okay, congratulations.
But what pain? He comes
funny
on.
thing is you gotta notice the one on top of that says, "I'll stop watching if Chris leaves." Right? So Chris, look, Chris. Let me tell you something right now. You are a media mogul in the finance space. I know you're not as big as some other guys, but you're still there, and you're gonna get some people saying stupid shit. That's just it is what it is.
And if Chris was a coward, bro, he would just give in and not he's the opposite of it. He's courageous. You know what I mean? Like seriously, it's not easy to be honest. You know?
Yeah. Well, let's just keep the topic on Palantir. So basically,
real quick, thank you, George, for the super chat. Means a lot. Thank you for being here. $10, appreciate it. Go ahead, Chris.
No, so they're keeping it. They're pushing down market, which is good. So they're expanding out their total customer base. So a lot of the criticisms that even I had in the past, which is that they might not be scalable, that's starting to go out the window, because that means that now if they're pushing down market and they're making sure that their employees, they're not growing their expenses too much, that means that they're actually doing something about it, where they're actually able to serve smaller clients without having to have 5 forward engineers and all this other stuff. So
Real quick, Chris is the reason I watch. Chris, I love you. Super chat says, boot everyone who says boot Chris. Chris for president. Chris is the man. Chris tells the truth. I love Chris. I like Chris. Thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Dog, I see you.
Chris,
I see you,
love
dog.
Appreciate it, guys.
We
Thank
love
you.
Chris.
Yeah.
Chris. He stays. Y'all can go. Real John Sarge. I appreciate you guys in the community. All right. 2.9 billion in cash. So they had 2.6 billion last quarter. So 300 more million in cash. Chris, do you want to see them buy back their shares or no?
No. Right now, they need to keep growing, expand the business, man. If they've got something going right now, use the cash to grow the business. Imagine Amazon buying back shares in 2012. Not a good idea. Like they need to use the cash to deploy it. I would hope that they end up doing like a venture capital fund where you have former employees that you can invest in. When your employees have a good idea, it's like, hey, listen, you have a good idea. I don't mind investing some equity into you at an early stage, so that if that employee hits it big, dude, they can end up 100xing that money. That's been the strategy for a lot of companies. So,
okay, let's look at this. We are committed to profitable growth and will continue to focus on investing in areas critical to our business. So Q3 2022, this is where the stock got hit. The operating income margin went down to 17%. It's back up to Q1 2022 levels. Chris, why do you think it's up from 7 months ago?
I think they're just cost rationalizing. So they're making sure that they're not adding employees where they don't need to be adding. They're cutting where you can cut, right? You're not going above and beyond on your expenses. So this is cost controls at work. And I think this is the same thing you're seeing all across big tech, right? Where if you go like 2 years ago or even a year ago, you see all these people just constantly hiring just to hire people. And now the exact opposite is happening, where you're seeing people say, you know what, maybe we don't need 3 guys to do this job. Let's just keep the one guy who's super efficient and run the business that way. So I think because I sent you the article, right, Amit, about how they were laying off a certain, like on the 2 or 3% of their total employees. So, yeah.
Lilium, by the way, those are in that SPAC. Adam, can you speak to this one? This is up like 60% in the past couple of days. Any thoughts on Lilium?
Yeah, I actually got out of Lilium just because I was in too many positions and I just want to concentrate on certain positions. But Lilium just locked up, I believe, $250 million in financing, if I'm not mistaken.
Without diluting, or?
I believe it was through an investment. I don't think it was diluting. I don't know 100%, but that's the all the rage. People are believing them. But they already had 2 out of 5 not test flights, like there's 5 parameters in order to actually get approved, and I believe there were 2 or 3 at this point past it. So they're working so far.
Got it. Reza, thank you for $5. Just open an XX spot for Chris. Keep up the good job. Thank you guys so much for the super chat. It means a lot. Look at this, guys. I said this in my video that if we want to get stock-based compensation down 30%, we have to come in at 300.
Your mic.
I'm sorry. I'm about to change it in a second. We basically need about $395 million of SBC to be down another 30% year over year. That means we need $94 million per quarter. We're at $91 million per quarter. That's a nice fucking reduction. That keeps us on pace for a decline of about 30% year over year.
Yeah, and this was a trend that was highlighted during the annual. I told you, like, the annual report came out a couple of weeks ago, so it was actually in there as well. So you could have looked at that and figured out. But this is mine and Adam Bergman's like performance. We started in August of 2022, and so you can see Snowflake initially had a good year. It was doing well. Palantir had some good earnings last time, so it came up, and then Snowflake was doing really well. And after today, Palantir is back on top. So we're close, Adam.
That's crazy.
You're not like super there, but it's a close race. But you're beating me today for sure.
It's straight up interesting though. It was like it's fun. It is definitely fun.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, real quick, I'm about to do a switcheroo to the good mic. So I'm leaving this one. Go ahead. You can keep talking, Adam. Go ahead.
Yeah. So somebody asked, and I'm not sure if this is what actually happened, but I think this is what happened, and that's what I was calling. Somebody asked, why would Palantir have so much money in treasury, bills, notes, bonds, whatever you want to call it, short-term, long-term? That's the only difference, the ranges of it. I believe they have 1.5 billion. That's what Carp and Langone were talking about. And some people took it as Carp's personal money. I took it as Palantir's money. And that 18 million, which is what 5% comes out to just for this quarter, I think pushes us past GAAP profitability, which allows us to also grow. And then a few other interesting techniques gets us to where we need to be. And we were literally GAAP profitable by 17 million, right? Something like that. Which is that 18 million they gave it to us. That's what I think. I'm just answering a question that somebody was asking about the. Yeah. It basically allows us to grow, do our aggressive stuff like going after smaller companies, new products, and meet Wall Street's expectations. And now Carp is saying we will be in the S&P 500, which is going to make a lot of people think maybe they're going to start buying in anticipation. I hope.
Yeah. Yep. This is definitely, like I told you, this is definitely the Tesla moment of 2019, right? Where the minute you go GAAP profitable, it's like, okay, this is a real business that can actually operate without having to basically just dilute shareholders, right? So as that SBC is going down, profits are going up, they're trending in the right direction. So most of Wall Street is probably going to enter this now. Like, this is like, if you think about it from like a hedge fund standpoint, or an index fund standpoint, or a mutual fund standpoint, you know, you have certain mandates in your funds that you can only invest in companies that are doing X, Y, and Z. So I think these are things that are going to start coming up. So I think a lot of a lot of whales are going to be looking at, hey, this is still trading at below or at least at their DPO price, you know, might as well start getting in. And you might see some giant moves. So I would say keep an eye on that institutional ownership percentage, because if that starts to creep up, dude, this could actually go up a lot more than what people are looking at right now.
You guys can hear me well? Not too bad. Audio's.
I can hear you pretty clearly. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So we are waiting for this live stream. It's going to start in about 4 minutes.
Man. You gotta give out shout out to CZK, man. He just gave you like $25. I think it's a Czech kroner.
Martin Pilda, Chris is great. Brings so much knowledge. Chris, thank you for your time, tips, and no BS attitude amid buying you. I have the good mic, guys. I just had to set it up. I got it. Yeah, thank you guys for the super chats, man. It means a lot. I hope a lot of you have made some money today. I hope you guys are up. I think now it's a question of if you want to take profits or not.
I feel like such a dumbass. I literally, Amit, I had fucking 50 contracts loaded on my fucking screen, and I bitched out. I 50 fucking call contracts, and I was gonna do like a throwaway lottery gamble bet, and it was gonna be something like $9.
Those 50 contracts. How much would it have cost?
I don't know. It was like around. It was like let me show you. It was like fucking
10 grand, 9 grand.
I don't know how much it was. No. The thing is, like, it was like something really far out of the money. So it was like a gamble call, right? It was like, if I win, it's gonna be great. If I don't, who gives a shit, you know? But I just couldn't do it, and now I feel like an idiot. But it happens.
Look, it is what. One thing I will say is I tomorrow and the next couple of days will be defining, because if CPI comes in low, the market might rally, which means Palantir might rally more. Or people will sell the news and say, look, we need more quarters to prove you guys are legit. You guys aren't profitable enough yet. Revenue growth is still 17% year over year. That's not good. But everything Carp is saying is leading to that's not going to stay at 17. All signs are pointing forward. I haven't seen anything yet that is really jarring. Like, I remember Q3 2022, it was like a bad earnings. It just wasn't good. And that's not what I'm seeing yet right now. So.
I think one more thing to just keep in mind, what we might end up seeing is a lot of analysts going back and redoing the numbers based on this. And I think
that's what Adam
raising price targets, because once they start raising price targets, then everyone starts to look around and be like, wait, what do you mean there's a price target of $20 on this stock and it's only trading at 10? Let me get in. You know, that's what happened with a lot of companies. If you look at like Zscaler was up a lot. People started raising the price target. So guess what happened? More people started to jump in. So like remember, all of these guys that do price targets, all they're doing is taking numbers, putting it into their magic formulas, and then getting an output number and saying, this is my price target for X, Y, and Z. You know?
Yeah. Agreed. Let's see some of the comments.
You almost surpassed Tom's live. Very close.
Thank you, Damien, for the $20 super chat. Means a lot. Means a lot. Amid who cares what Wall Street does tomorrow? Yeah, I mean, look, I know we're in this for the long term, but we'll see what happens. If you did not subscribe to the channel, please subscribe. We do
Guys,
pound some content here.
I care.
Yeah, as investors, we should all care what Wall Street does, because even if we don't give a shit about like the hedge fund guys putting their money in to try to make a profit, you got to think of all the people that have like your police, your firefighters, their pension funds, all of the people that could invest in this. If they have the ability to go in using those large ass pension funds and get in, this is how they generate exponential returns, so that pays people's pensions and all the other stuff. So all I would say is, when you have these whales come in, it benefits you as a retail investor who recognize the opportunity, and then you're at where you are. So if you look at Tesla is where it is today, not because of retail investors, but because other people, especially large funds, were willing to put in $250 million, $300 million up the shares at a much higher price than what most retail got in at.
Yeah. Agreed. You
gotta hand it to Chicken Genius though. He's the one that's gonna get a lot of credit. He's like, I told you, all you donkeys, you donkeys didn't listen to me. You know, bro.
He's mad funny.
Invest safe.
Yeah.
Yo, I love that guy, bro. He's hilarious. I love him.
And he brings in like a random Chinese girl or Asian girl. Is like, look at me and my, like, that's what he does. You know, other people flex using like Ferraris and shit. This dude just has like a hot Chinese girl and be like, come to bed, Chinese. But then
all right, we're starting, and it's great. We're starting. We got 2,000 people. Todd, thank you for the $5 super chat here since day one. Want to see Palantir Weekly episode 500. Thank you so much. It is time. 2,000 people. Thank you for being here. We are starting. Well, we should be.
Bro, they never start at the exact right time. I don't know what it is. It's always like 5 minutes or 10 minutes after the time that it's supposed to be.
It's always something.
Yeah.
You guys think Buffett's gonna buy Palantir? He's
Nah, I don't think so, dude.
One of his generals.
No, his core functionality with Buffett is, if I don't understand the business, I don't buy it. You know,
but his generals do.
Palantir is hard to understand. Man.
Yeah, his generals do.
The guy that's about to say isn't Apple their best investment? Like at the end of the day, or close to
true.
it?
Yeah. But he
Good
understood that from a consumer
I'm Anna
standpoint.
Sarah
All right.
from Palantir's finance team, and I'd
See
like
you
to
guys on the
welcome
opposite
you to
side.
our first quarter 2023 earnings call. We'll be discussing the results announced in our press release issued after the market close and posted on our investor relations website. During the call, we will make statements regarding our business that may be considered forward-looking within applicable securities laws, including statements regarding our second quarter and fiscal 2023 results, management's expectations for our future financial and operational performance, and other statements regarding our plans, prospects, and expectations. These statements are not promises or guarantees and are subject to risks and uncertainties, which could cause them to differ materially from actual results. Information concerning those risks is available in our earnings press release, distributed after the market closed today, and in our SEC filings. We undertake no obligation to update forward-looking statements except as required by law. Further, during the course of today's call, we will refer to certain adjusted financial measures. These non-GAAP financial measures should be considered in addition to, not as a substitute for or in isolation from, GAAP measures. Additional information about these non-GAAP measures, including reconciliation of non-GAAP to comparable GAAP measures, is included in our press release and investor presentation provided today. Our press release, investor presentation, and SEC filings are available on our investor relations website at investors.palantir.com. Over the course of the call, we will refer to various growth rates when discussing our business. These rates reflect year-over-year comparisons unless otherwise stated. Joining me on today's call are Alex Karp, Chief Executive Officer, Shyam Sankar, Chief Technology Officer, Dave Glazer, Chief Financial Officer, and Ryan Taylor, Chief Revenue Officer and Chief Legal Officer. I'll now turn it over to Alex for opening remarks.
On any normal earnings call where we have just been profitable and where we're going to be profitable for the next couple quarters, which opens up the possibility to be on the S&P, where the U.S. market grew by 28% and where we made $187 million in free cash flow. That would be the thing that was the most exciting. But in fact, what's most exciting about Palantir is we have our ability to launch products that are literally in the only products on the market, and that will in fact change your life and will determine who succeeds and who fails across enterprise, both government and commercial. The large language model revolution is one that will raise ships and sink ships. Of course, the profitability is important. Of course, the fact that we make free cash flow is important, but it's not nearly as exciting as our ability to invest our resources and our founder-led energy in using our things we have built to supply enterprises with an otherwise not available and in crazy high demand product. This is just one of the most exciting times to be at Palantir because you have the resources of a large, profitable enterprise company. So there is an issue with non-profitable tech. If you're powering the most important enterprises in the world, they want to know, can you provide the resources, the product we need tomorrow purely on a financial basis? But more importantly to us and to them, long-term is, can you help us disrupt our adversaries? Can you just help us disrupt our competitors? For me personally, can you have a product that will help the West win, especially our government, but also our commercial clients, so that we in fact are stronger than our adversaries? And in the last 20 years, there's never been a development like this. You have a technology that will allow you to outproduce, change the margin of your company, understand your business, react on the battlefield quicker, predict things on the battlefield in a way, collapse your enterprise so that the top and the bottom actually work together, preempt attacks, create software that is so obviously dominant that adversaries quiver and scurry away instead of attacking us or our allies. And there's one company in the world that is positioned. The issue of how do you have security, a data model or knowledge and wisdom that's proprietary interact with an external large language model or with generative AI is not new to Palantir. And that's why we're able to launch our platform AIP so quickly, the demand of which is nothing I've ever seen in 20 years of being involved in Palantir. And the reason the demand is high is people suspect that this will, if you wield these technologies correctly, safely, and securely, meaning extract the value in the context of your own enterprise, whether that's sensitive or non-sensitive or regulated or moderately regulated, you have a weapon that will allow you to win, that will scare your competitors and your adversaries. And we are in the unique position to supply that platform. And we have the resources, both because of our profitability, our $2.9 billion in the bank, our lack of debt, and quite frankly, our entrepreneurial founder-led spirit at this company. Welcome to our earnings day. Thank you.
Let's go,
As
Carp.
Alex highlighted, our company once again achieved GAAP profitability last quarter, including GAAP operating income for the first time. This marks another milestone in our company's sustained growth, ensuring that we will continue delivering results and impact for our partners for years to come, while also investing deeply in the transformational AI opportunities before us. We have been taking steps across the company in recent months to refocus our efforts and optimize on the parts of our business that will drive even further growth alongside sustained profitability. In Q1 2023, we generated $525 million in revenue. Due to the seasonality of our business, Q1 tends to be our slowest quarter. But despite that headwind and the difficult macroeconomic environment that the technology industry continues to face, our commercial business generated $236 million of revenue last quarter and achieved $176 million in TCV, a 70% year-over-year TCV increase. These strong results were driven primarily by the re-acceleration of our U.S. commercial business, which surpassed the 100 million revenue threshold for the first time with 26% year-over-year growth. We continue to see robust pilot starts and promising conversions, and we're also beginning to see the realization of our expansion strategy, meaning we're beginning to see meaningful growth and upsell opportunities with our newer customer base. Some notable examples include the expansion of our work with Hertz, who's using Foundry to more efficiently manage and operate its fleet of nearly 500,000 vehicles, and Jacobs Engineering, who is doubling down on our partnership to reduce costs and improve performance across plants. We also signed significant expansion agreements with the largest health system in the country for continued acceleration of our hospital operations efforts, and with one of the world's largest paper and packaging companies. Our US commercial customer base, which stood at 155 at the end of Q1 2023, a 7-fold increase in customer count over just 2 years, presents an immense opportunity for continued expansion. While aspects of our international commercial business have been challenging in today's climate, we continue to focus on delivering transformational results to long-term customers. For example, BP, our customer of over a decade, recently shared that Foundry helped them reduce production costs by approximately 60%, from $14 a barrel to less than $6 a barrel. We're also investing for growth in targeted industries and geographies, such as Korea, where I recently met with customers and saw our momentum there firsthand. This includes several strong pilot starts and the expansion of our work with Korea Shipbuilding and Offshore Engineering, focused on using Foundry to enhance safety and operational efficiency. Our government business generated $289 million in revenue, driven in large part by our US government business, which grew 22% year over year. With strong conviction in our work on the ground and the critical missions we're delivering against, we continue to focus on building our US government business for the long term, while acknowledging timing uncertainty in the short term. We're investing in delivering digital deterrence and AI-driven efforts around the world, from the Middle Eastern, Pacific, and European theaters. And with pressing global events, we continue to lean into our support for the US and its allies across Eastern Europe. More broadly, as we look at opportunities across our company, we are strongly investing in AI efforts, with a focus on delivering the foundational systems and software architecture that will enable enterprises to leverage the power of the latest large language models and other machine learning technologies. We're already seeing unprecedented demand for AIP, and we are reorganizing our efforts aggressively to capitalize on the interest. We anticipate that these technologies will be transformational both for ourselves and for our customers, and we are positioned to meet the moment. I'll now turn it over to Shyam.
Thanks, Ryan. This past February, overlapping with our last earnings call, I had the opportunity to visit Ukraine and witness the incredible speed with which the Ukrainian forces were able to employ AI on the battlefield. It was clear that the future has already arrived, and that future requires us broadly to rewrite roadmaps. It changes everything to some degree and some things completely. We all can either choose to join the disruptors driving this change, or we can be disrupted. From diffusion to large language models, the accelerating pace of AI development is awe-inspiring and exhilarating. But there are many challenges customers will encounter as they attempt to leverage this technology operationally at any scale. From managing the mismatch between the ever-growing big data scale of the enterprise and the bottlenecks and choke points of smaller context windows of LLMs, to product design challenges of constructively embedding these models in workflows, and safety and trust challenges in governing the AI in an operational and decision-making context. We are well ahead of the curve because we've built the frameworks, the infrastructure, and the software needed. We have already had to solve so many of the hard problems, including the development of deep expertise with the necessary intermediary scale data challenges required to effectively span the gap from big data to small LLM context windows. And there will be many surprises in who ultimately comes up as the winners and losers of all of this disruption. The AI models themselves, within months, have gone from cutting edge to quickly being commoditized. Developing GPT-2 and GPT-3 class models at this point, table stakes. Anyone can build them in a few days with a few $100s. As the memo purportedly leaked from Google titled, "We have no moat and neither does OpenAI" makes clear, things that big tech companies have considered major open areas of development have actually been solved by a handful of people in the open source community. While some of the proprietary models hold a slight quality edge, the lead is vanishing quickly. The speed of iteration on these models, biasing to a Goldilocks size of power iteration pace ratio, will dominate. We believe larger, enduring value is more likely to emerge from the application and workflow layer by the players who know how to navigate the challenges of data scale mismatch that LLMs present. And we are uniquely positioned to continue to be a leader here. And because that future is already here, we must act with speed and conviction. Customers must completely rethink what they are building and how they build it. We are moving fast to ensure existing customers can quickly deploy AIP beside Gotham and Foundry to transform their operations with intelligent, contextual decision making and sophisticated automation and coordination from the battlefield to the boardroom. AIP enables customers to operate not only Foundry and Gotham, but also their businesses from a greater strategic vantage point. We provide powerful interfaces to rapidly integrate your data, build your ontology, forge AI-driven applications and workflows, and build agents to orchestrate and automate enterprise actions, all in an environment with guardrails, safe handoff functions, and military-grade security. AIP not only knows how to speak to you, but more importantly, it knows how to speak to Gaia, Meta Constellation, every Foundry service, your ontology, and your enterprise. At a major insurance company, we deployed a pre-release version of AIP and in a few days built a collaborative AI agent to automate claims processing. The chief data officer told us that AIP was years ahead of anything they had seen. The pace of innovation around AI and LLMs presents a unique opportunity for leveraging our Apollo and FedStart infrastructure. There is tremendous demand for these models in FedRAMP, IL5, and IL6. Via our FedStart offering, we can bring these startups to US government markets in weeks. In Q1, we also closed our first $1 million deal for Apollo with a major tech company. Our Foundry Ontology SDK has met the market to a great reception. These SDKs make it easy for customers to build new enterprise applications and integrate ontology into their existing ones. We plan to support AIP directly from these SDKs, extending the AI application forge deep into your enterprise ecosystem. The Gotham ecosystem continues to expand with enhanced capabilities across the AI-enabled kill chain. Our most recent developments include substantial new capabilities, called Maverick, in fires and the broader air battle management process. This capability enables efficient translation of approved targets to weapon systems. On a final note, we will be sharing our insights on the latest cutting-edge AI, who will be the victors and the vanquished, and of course, showing the latest across AIP and Foundry, as well as hearing from our customers on how our products are powering their transformations at our June 1st customer event in Palo Alto. With that, I'll turn it over to Dave.
Thanks, Sean. The first quarter of 2023 was a record-setting quarter for us. We achieved our second consecutive quarter of GAAP profitability and also achieved GAAP operating income for the first time. This accomplishment was a result of strong top-line growth driven by the re-acceleration of our U.S. commercial business, coupled with continued disciplined spend management. These achievements demonstrate our commitment to driving profitable growth, and we continue to expect 2023 to be our first full year of GAAP profitability. On the back of these exceptional results and this trajectory, we now expect to be GAAP profitable in each quarter this year. Turning to our global top-line results. We generated $525 million in revenue in the first quarter of 2023, up 18% year over year, $20 million ahead of the midpoint of our prior guidance. Our U.S. business generated $337 million in total revenue in the first quarter, up 23% year over year and 12% sequentially, demonstrating our continued momentum in the U.S. Revenue from our largest customers continues to expand. First quarter trailing 12-month revenue per customer from our top 20 customers increased 14% year over year to $51 million per customer. New customer acquisition also remained strong as we saw customer count grow 41% year over year and 7% sequentially. Now moving to our commercial segment. In the first quarter of 2023, commercial revenue grew 15% year over year and 10% sequentially to $236 million. Our first quarter U.S. commercial revenue grew 26% year over year and 39% sequentially to $107 million. Excluding revenue from strategic commercial contracts, U.S. commercial revenue grew 46% year over year and 24% sequentially. In addition to the strength of our U.S. commercial revenue growth, our U.S. commercial customer count grew 50% year over year and 8% sequentially, marking the 9th consecutive quarter of sequential growth. Commercial revenue from our strategic commercial contracts surpassed first quarter expectations at $33 million due to the unanticipated acceleration of revenue from certain of these contracts. We expect second quarter revenue from these customers to be between $17 and $19 million and to drop off significantly in the third and fourth quarter. Our expectations of full year revenue from these customers remains unchanged at approximately 3% of total full year revenue. In the first quarter, our international commercial business grew 8% year over year and declined 7% sequentially. The results were impacted in part due to a tough comparison to the prior quarter as a result of the timing of revenue recognition on certain contracts in the fourth quarter, and the seasonal headwinds we often see in the first quarter with some of our largest international enterprise customers. Turning to our government segment. First quarter government revenue grew 20% year over year and declined 1% sequentially to $289 million. First quarter U.S. government revenue grew 22% year over year and 2% sequentially to $230 million. While we have a strong pipeline of opportunities in our U.S. government business, we acknowledge that there are uncertainties associated with the timing of these contract expansions and renewals. Nonetheless, we remain confident in the growth of our U.S. government business. First quarter international government revenue grew 11% year over year and declined 13% sequentially to $59 million. The sequential decline was driven by non-recurring revenue catch-up that we saw in the fourth quarter, as well as some challenges with the timing of contract awards in the first quarter. Turning to bookings. TCV booked in the first quarter was $397 million, up 60% year over year. U.S. commercial TCV grew 170% year over year to $124 million, again demonstrating the strength of our U.S. commercial business. We ended the first quarter with $3.4 billion in total remaining deal value and $936 million in remaining performance obligations. As a reminder, RPO is primarily comprised of our commercial business, as it does not take into account contracts with an initial term of less than 12 months and contractual obligations that fall beyond termination for convenience clauses, both of which are common in most of our government business. Both remaining deal value and remaining performance obligations have continued to face headwinds from the macroeconomic impact on customers from the Strategic Investment Program. As a result, the total remaining deal value and the total value of our commercial contracts from our Strategic Investment Program decreased by $102 million since last quarter as we continue to review and assess the financial condition of these businesses. Turning to margin and expense. Adjusted gross margin, which excludes stock-based compensation expense, was 81% for the quarter. First quarter adjusted income from operations, which excludes stock-based compensation expense, was $125 million, representing an adjusted operating margin of 24%, 600 basis points ahead of our prior guidance and marking the third consecutive quarter of expanding adjusted operating margins. These results demonstrate our ability to drive strong revenue growth while managing costs effectively, with first quarter adjusted expense up only 1% sequentially to $400 million. We continue to manage expense growth by optimizing operations in G&A, capturing cloud efficiencies, and focusing our headcount investments in key strategic areas. We remain committed to sustained GAAP profitability, while at the same time increasing investment in both the U.S. to capture the momentum we are seeing and in the development of advanced software capabilities, particularly our AI-driven offerings. We believe that artificial intelligence, including large language models, will prove transformational for our business and for enterprises in the government and commercial context. To that end, we are rebalancing our efforts and investments to capitalize on these developments. In the first quarter, we generated income from operations of $4 million, our first ever quarter of GAAP operating income. This reflects our laser focus on profitable growth and continued management of our stock-based compensation. While we expect to see stock-based compensation expense trend up through the remainder of the year, we remain focused on GAAP net income and operating profitability. Turning to net income. First quarter GAAP net income was $17 million, our second consecutive quarter of GAAP profitability. This was the result of our strong GAAP operating income, as well as interest income from our balance sheet and the narrowing of losses from investments. First quarter adjusted earnings per share was 5 cents, and GAAP earnings per share was 1 cent, our second consecutive quarter of positive GAAP EPS. We are extremely proud that we were able to continue to deliver GAAP profitability on a consistent basis. Additionally, our combined revenue growth and adjusted operating margin was 42% in the first quarter. We will continue to strive to achieve the Rule of 40 throughout 2023 and beyond. Turning to our strong cash flow in the first quarter, we generated $189 million and $187 million in adjusted free cash flow and cash from operations, respectively, each representing a margin of 36%. We ended the quarter with $2.9 billion in cash, cash equivalents, and short-term U.S. Treasury bills. We retain access to additional liquidity of up to $950 million through our $500 million revolving credit facility and $450 million delayed draw term loan facility, both of which remain entirely undrawn. Now turning to our outlook. For Q2 2023, we expect revenue of between $528 and $532 million, adjusted income from operations of between $118 and $122 million, and GAAP net income. For full year 2023, we are raising our revenue guidance to between $2.185 and $2.235 billion. We are raising our adjusted income from operations guidance to between $506 and $556 million. And we now expect GAAP net income in each quarter of this year. With that, I'll turn it over to Anna to start the Q&A.
Thanks, Dave. We'll begin with a few questions from our shareholders before we open up the call. We received a lot of questions on AI and AIP. Alex, would you like to share some thoughts?
Well, thank you for being here. I've been at the Palantir building since the beginning for 20 years. Our first product was PG, which changed the course of history, especially in Europe, by preventing terror attacks in a constitutional order. And that product basically is the only product for that use case in the world. And then we built a number of other products on the battlefield for special operators, Foundry, which needs no introduction. And in the process of building these products, we were always thinking about human computer symbiotic relationships, and then later algorithmic relationships to data, especially what's called generative AI. And so we had built these precursor technologies since inception, and also biases. So how would you interact with an algorithm where you expose only the part of the enterprise that you want to expose, need to expose? How would you do a handoff when you're deciding to make a lethal decision? Who makes the lethal decision? What data sources are used? How do you map the knowledge and wisdom of your enterprise onto the external database? And then with the rise of large language models, how do you impose that on the large language model? How do you take what's useful from AI, especially in a large language model context, without hallucinating your way into a disaster? How do you expose sensitive parts of your enterprise that need to be exposed while protecting parts of your enterprise that should never be exposed, not just in the classified environment, but if you're working in a hospital context, not exposing personal healthcare data to a broader LLM run by a third party? How do you do this in a context where some people are technical and non-technical? How do you expand our offering? And this is one of the big advantages of the current revolution, to people who have very technical needs but don't know how to wield them. And in general, our business has been a business driven by moral imperatives. I don't want to make this overly philosophical, although in some ways I prefer it. But
I prefer it too, Carp. I prefer it too.
When you look at the history of Silicon Valley over the last 20 years, there's in a weird way a tacit alliance between the way in which our maybe adversaries think of the world and the way in which many people in Silicon Valley have thought about it. Essentially, we will use data to serve our interests, not inherently the interests of the people, meaning it, in our context, to be monetized. And we have always believed in a moral imperative where the human and our governments would define the context in which data and algorithmic and now large language models implicitly would be controlled. And so that looked like a weird philosophical bias, but in fact, that philosophical bias allowed us to develop branching, allowed us to develop ways of doing handoff technologies. It allowed us to think broadly about what it means to be in lethal situations and behave ethically. It now positioned us to be able to launch ways in which to deal with large language models that is a once in a generational opportunity with technologies that are otherwise not available by other people. Also, even our bias of understanding, as Sean was saying in his introduction, that it is the person that wields the technology that makes it valuable, that makes it moral, not the technology itself. And these biases have just put us very, very far ahead of the market. And especially, we're seeing this a reception to this in the United States, which makes me obviously particularly happy. So we're going to be very involved in rolling this out in a kind of pretty disciplined way. We see it as unprecedented, once in a generation opportunity. We have odd resources in terms of IP, software platforms that are uniquely suited for this. We have an ability to run hard, both because we are entrepreneurial. Many people in this space, in fact, don't really build products, they buy products. It's just too late to buy a product to catch up with what has to be done now and where the winners will really accelerate. So we feel like we're in a, obviously our profitability is really important to us, particularly because as we begin to power more and more of the most important institutions in the world, it basically takes off the table the legitimate question, well, if your technology is so powerful, why can't you make any money? So I believe is a unique time for us, a unique place for us, and we're very, very busily at work.
Thanks, Alex. We also received a few questions on GAAP profitability. Vishal and Rick ask, do you still expect to be GAAP profitable this year?
Vishal, Rick, thanks for the question. In short, absolutely we do. And really on the strength of Q1, we now know we expect to be profitable in each quarter of this year, not just for the full year, which is obviously a big milestone for us. And to recap Q1, it was our second consecutive quarter of GAAP profitability. We did $17 million of net income. It's our first ever GAAP operating income profitable quarter. We did $4 million of operating income. It's our strongest cash flow quarter ever, $189 million of free cash flow. And we did this all with the US commercial business growing 39% sequentially. And so profitability, it will remain core to our growth. And that's as we mobilize our business and our resources around the AI opportunities that are in front of us.
Thanks, Dave. We received questions about expanding our customer base and the growth and momentum of our commercial business. Ryan, do you want to share some thoughts on the commercial business for 2023?
Yeah, absolutely. So in our results, you see the reacceleration of our US commercial business, 26% year over year growth, US commercial, as Dave said, 39% sequential. Our customer count, which is now at 155 customers in our US commercial business, grew 50% year over year. And the TCV closed in Q1 grew 170% year over year. That's on the back of pilot conversions, new pilots starting, and expansions at customers, as I highlighted earlier, such as Hertz, Jacobs Engineering, the largest health system in the country, and one of the largest paper and packaging companies in the world, among other examples. We expect that momentum to carry forward. And as the US commercial continues to become a larger and larger part of our overall business, that'll obviously have larger and larger impacts on our overall results and momentum as well. On top of that, we've highlighted AI presents an opportunity that is creating unprecedented demand for us. We can deliver against it in ways that no one else can. And we're running at that full speed. And we expect that momentum to continue in 2023 and beyond.
Thanks, Ryan. Our next question is from Michael, who asks, with potential S&P 500 inclusion, how does that correlate with the company's prospects on profitability moving forward?
I'm sure there's a prepared answer here, but I believe, or I know that we are outsiders. And this outsider status is one of the main reasons we built all these products, because we never, ever thought anyone would buy our products except for that they were disruptive and unique. And that's in many, if you look at the products we built, but also in somehow our uncanny preparedness for this moment, it's because we approach this as we have to succeed under adverse conditions. And my interest in profitability is for obvious reasons, but it's also, I think, we'll just be in a much stronger position as it becomes clear that we qualify for participation in the S&P. And a lot of people look at us afresh, anew, and we'll begin to look closer at our strengths. But in any case, this is the outsider strategy is we are going to be profitable. We're going to, within the context of being profitable, we are going to take all resources and disrupt, especially in the US of A, and we are going to use the profitability to scale our business and to scale the attractiveness of our business to new investors.
Thanks, Alex. Our next question is from Brent with Jefferies. Brent, please turn on your camera, and then you'll receive a prompt to unmute your line.
Good afternoon. There were a lot of questions about in the quarter the backlog growth, significantly decelerated. Yet the comments about the overall business reaccelerating, you guys were clear about, and so there were questions around were there any one-time milestone JV rev rec or SPAC contribution in the quarter that may have explained this? And can you just comment about the backlog growth versus the comments you said about reacceleration, because they don't really match up when we look at the numbers?
Yeah, so happy to take that. And I think just to start off, when you're looking at reacceleration, I'd point to the U.S. commercial business is really driving our business forward and sort of where our focus is. And it did reaccelerate significantly in Q1, right? It was 26% year-over-year growth, 39% sequential. If you want to exclude SPAC revenue, it grew over 45% and grew 24% sequentially. So it's exceptional reacceleration. And then if you want to look at bookings, you can look at US TCV up 170%. Excuse me, US commercial TCV is up 170% year over year. So all the measures are there.
I think I did give you a somewhat orthogonal answer to your question. We have a tale of two cities here. We have
TCV stands for total contract value.
64% of our business. 4 years ago, it was 37% of our business. We're absolutely disrupting in the US of A. International is growing around 10%, and that is becoming obviously a smaller part of our business. And so what I tend to see when I look at the numbers is, yeah, if we believe we see the US is growing, we see that US is real accelerating, although reaccelerating is the wrong word because in fact, US commercial has been accelerating, and it's just become a much bigger part of our business. And last not least, what's not in the numbers is I spend a lot of my time on the road. I'm talking to the US customers. I'm talking and they're not, the quality of the questions has shifted from why would we need this to how would I use it? And that's just purely on the Foundry front. And then the inbound on anything related to AI, both from existing customers. By the way, on that score, we sit on the world's most important private sensitive networks, both in commercial and government. Every single one of those clients needs an AI strategy, and we have unique technology and software for that. So, but I think if you wanted to look at the positive, negative of our business, yeah, sure. I do not expect international to grow much more than it is growing now. I do expect the US to continue to grow, and we're very optimistic about what will happen there.
Thanks, Alex. Our next question is from Mariana with Bank of America. Mariana, please turn on your camera, and then you'll receive a prompt to unmute your line. Mariana, can you hear us?
Hello?
You hear me?
Yep.
And
Oh, perfect. Having troubles with technology still. There. I am muted. Okay. My question is about the...
We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, Mariana, you're cutting out.
I'm so sorry.
We need to start getting these people some technology help, bro. We do better job streaming than they do.
It's kind of ridiculous,
No
to be
problem.
honest.
We can just move on. Our next question is from Keith with Morgan Stanley.
They
Keith,
fucked
please turn
BOA.
on your camera, and then you'll receive a prompt to unmute your line.
Mariana likes us too. That's the problem. She's a good one.
That's what I'm saying. They should show some respect. The BOA is the only one holding us down. That's fucked up.
Yeah. They can't believe how good the results are. They're like, I don't know what the guy is. I don't know what the ask.
You motherfuckers need some StreamYard, bro. Tell
You
Palantir get some StreamYard.
Excellent. So we talked a lot about accelerating U.S. commercial business, reorienting the company to a certain extent for this commercial opportunity with the AI platform. Two questions. One, can you talk to us a little bit about changes that you're looking to make in the go-to-market for this AI platform? Any sense you could give us in terms of how you're looking to price the platform? What's sort of the initial conversations been like, and what do you think the pricing modality is going to be like around that AI platform? And then the last question on GAAP profitability. This quarter, you did have a pull forward of revenues that kind of helped the commercial business, helped the overall profitability. To some sense, you got to make that up a little bit in Q2 and Q3. Are there any tactical things that you're doing or cost reduction initiatives that you're putting in place to ensure that GAAP profitability to offset that pull forward, that upfront revenue recognition you saw in Q1?
I'll take the AI thing, and Shyam, maybe you want to add something, and then you can talk about all of our various strategies to be more and more efficient. No, our basic, it's counterintuitive, but we're gonna within the context of remaining profitable, our strategy on AI is to just take the whole market. We have no pricing strategy. We're going to create a lot of value.
Let's
We're gonna
go.
Get hundreds of customers, and we will price it as we go. One of the things we've seen over and over again is when you're ahead of the market, you need to take territory. We want to take territory for two reasons. One, we believe we have the only product currently on the market that can solve some of these intricate technical needs. Two, we've spent years building certain things, like how do you manage knowledge systems across algorithms, across security interests. We know how hard it is to build this. We believe that it will take years for people to build these things. And three, because as we take territory, we educate the market, and the market, quite frankly, many analysts believe this stuff is really easy. You educate the market to see how hard it is. And in doing that, you then have pricing parity, because they will try other things that for technical reasons are likely to fail. So especially in the US, we have some non-US customers. There are some exceptions to this. We can't do this for free for governments for legal reasons, and because we have so many already AI-driven clients. But in the US commercial context, our strategy is going to be to take territory, educate the market, and make it very difficult for other people entering the market, because they'll have to compete with a product that's what we've already been working on for de facto years, with solving technical issues that the market doesn't yet realize exist. Then I'll leave.
Yeah, I was just going to say, from a product perspective with AIP, we're just razor focused on creating value as quickly as possible. I think it's not actually clear from the outside how far ahead we are. If you think about the intermediary scale data challenges that you face in getting value out of LLMs, and they're extremely small context windows, like how are you going to bridge the gap between big data and smaller context windows? You need an ontology. And all of these, like, how did we build an insurance GPT agent in 2 days? Because we stood on the shoulders of 2 years of a very robust ontology that enabled us to unlock
great point.
Maybe you should
huge
explain
value.
what an ontology is, because for most people,
Yeah, I could take the rest of the call with that, but I think simply
you love that. More interested in that than,
you have the semantic representation of the business. Sometimes people call it digital twin. I hate that because it cheapens it and how it's been diluted. But like, what is the business? How do we think about it? How does the data map to the operations that happen? And then you have the kinetic layer of like, well, how do we make decisions? How do I adjudicate a claim? What does that mean? How does it flow through the system? These are prerequisites. You can think about that second piece, the kinetics, is the tools you give the LLMs to actually drive and automate your business processes. And you think about the former part of like, how do I actually reason about what's going on? And I need that as almost like a form of compression to get everything into that small context window, right? Like that's a physical limitation of the LLMs. So I think the amount of ground we can take means that the only reasonable strategy is to focus on.
And implicit in what Shyam is saying is without essentially, other people call it a knowledge graph. In fact, de facto, you could view it as like a dynamic semantic layer where the assumptions of your world are built in it and can map across you will just not be able to use this technology. Now, that's something we know. No one else knows. No one believes it, but they're about to find out. And so we don't have to have this debate with people. We're just going to show clients, hey, this will work. You will get value. We've done this before. And also crazy hard to build this. So if you know how to do it, you have a 3-year build.
And we didn't even talk about the guardrails, the military grade security, the safe handoff functions that are extant, right? Like we can go running at this so hard.
And again, in a highly regulated environment, whether people listening to this like it or not, America is a highly regulated environment. You will not be able to use this technology without what Shyam is calling guardrails. But what he really means is with a branching technology where ACLs can be applied to the internal systems in a way that you can still get the work, be able to do the work because you have a semantic layer. And that's all gobbledygook to people, except for it will not be gobbledygook to everybody who wants to use this technology in a productive way. And we just, we spent 20 years building these things, and we're gonna litigate that on the front and figure out how we get paid later.
And on GAAP profitability, we're going to get there, with the U.S. business. And when you look to U.S. commercial, that'll help push us there. And then when you look at sort of what we've been doing on the cost side, G&A efficiency, the cloud costs we keep talking about because it really, really is making a difference in our business. And then we're going to be prudent with our headcount in certain places, and in other places, we're going to really.
I mean, there's an obvious thing. We're growing, we believe, and the numbers show we're disrupting in the U.S. We're going to invest heavily. In places where we're growing 10%, we're going to reduce costs. There's no mystery here.
Thanks.
Solid.
Alex, as always, we have a lot of individual investors on the line. Is there anything you'd like to say before we end the call?
You're my favorite investors. I say it every call. A lot of the decisions we make are made because we are in full alignment with you. There's a tendency among elites to overlook your knowledge. My experience is the people that pay attention to the product, how the product's used, and are more accurate in the strengths and weaknesses of PG, Foundry, semantic layer, and now AI are very often people investing their own money. And I now, as we become profitable in the next 2 quarters, I expect that we will become part of the S&P and we'll have many more institutional investors. But I will not stop valuing you, and I appreciate your support.
Thanks. That concludes Q&A for today's call.
All right, raw thoughts. We just heard the earnings call. Chris, let's start with you. What did you take away from it?
I'm buying some fucking shares. That's what I'm doing.
What?
I got to do it now.
Why?
Dude, yeah.
Why, Chris, after selling out about 8 months ago, are you finally convinced to buy some shares?
Because it's profitable. You buy profitable companies. And especially if they're saying, hey, this is going to be achievement goal for us. You know, there are companies out there that take maybe like 5 years, 10 years after they IPO to get to a point where they're GAAP profitable. If they're saying, hey, you know what, we're GAAP profitable and that's going to be a goal that we're going to start going with, why not? Makes total sense, you know? So yeah, I'm definitely fucking buying, you know? It looks like they're actually able to capitalize on this, and you know what? They got fucking coach strapped now. So I can't help but invest.
Oh, man, that's amazing. That's amazing. All right, Adam, what are your raw thoughts? I have a lot of stuff to say on this, and then we'll keep going. Go ahead.
Couple of words that Karp was saying. Entrepreneurs. He kept stressing we're entrepreneurs. And all that means is, to me, is he's shifting gears. He's like, we see an opportunity, we're entrepreneurs, and we're going to seize the opportunity. He kept saying, I value you, which is not what he was saying in the other calls. He was basically saying, everyone could go fuck themselves. I'll do what I do. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, then you don't. He kept mentioning that we strive to achieve profitability, which is not what he was saying the other earnings call. All he said is, we're just growing, and I'll see you in 5 years. And I like that he says we're going to reduce costs in international to focus on U.S. business, and he's going to push towards this AI. So I like it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that they're ahead on this and they're able... Can you mute my Adam?
Adam, yeah, it's you.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I was going to say, now that they're focusing on this, I'm like 99% sure the institutional holders are going to start looking. And he even said it, Carpet said it himself, like, now we're going to see institutions start buying in because they've achieved the prerequisite to most people saying, you know what, I'm going to take a serious look at this company, and that's profitability. Some people have this thing that if they're not profitable, we can't invest in them. And for a long time, that was the concern with Palantir, that they were just going to grow, but they were never really going to be profitable, and they would just keep diluting shareholders. So now I think there will also be a point where they're going to take some of that SBC, reduce it down, and just pay their employees more. Because if you have operating cash flows that are growing and you already have a nice cash pile, all you have to do now is just say, you know what, instead of your compensation being like 70% SBC, just make it fucking 50% SBC or 25% SBC, and we'll do cash compensation more, you know, which ends up helping out. Or they could even buy back some shares in the future to reduce that down. So yeah, I think this is a turning point. This is a 2019 moment for like a very similar 2019 Tesla moment for Palantir. The only thing I'll say to the bulls is be patient. Don't like go too crazy thinking that this is going to be $20.
Don't go too crazy with the buying yet.
Do not go crazy and be like, fuck this. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to buy a $20 call. I know that this is how this is how sometimes these meme communities are. And I don't want to call us the meme community, but this is how sometimes a community can develop, where people will take unreasonable bets and then lose money. Like, be smart about it. Don't go like 1 month out and be buying a $20 call option. You know, even if it's like, oh, you know what, this is going to go to the moon tomorrow. things like this take time. Like look at right now, the price is already starting to come down a little bit. The euphoria went up, it came down. So let's not be that community that's just like, fuck it, let's buy GameStop at $400, because I want to be an instant millionaire by next Monday. Just the best way that I would say to play this company, in my opinion, would be just to DCA. You have a paycheck, take a few dollars, put it in, and don't look for the next 10 years. And I think relatively that'll work out.
100%. I mean, look, like macro uncertainty, anything can happen. The stock can go back to $7. The point is, I don't care if the stock goes back to $7, honestly. Like what I saw is what I wanted to see, and eventually the world will catch up. That's just how the market is. But the earnings itself was really good, so you definitely got to be careful with buying next quarter. And I'll make the same mistake. I bought a cash secured. I sold a cash secured put at a 950 strike price last quarter because I got excited. It was not going to stay at 950. There was no way in hell it was going to stay at 950, right? And I should have known that, and I got assigned those shares, and I could have bought those shares at $7, right? So definitely got to be careful. I want to read a couple quotes that I tweeted and get your thoughts on them. Carp says, what's most exciting is not that we're gap profitable, but that we have the ability to launch the most exciting products in the world. Nice one. He also says the demand I've seen for our AIP platform is like nothing I've seen in the past 20 years. Before I go on, do you believe him when he says that? Especially when he said, the question I'm having with clients is not, do I need this, but how do I use this? Do you believe him, Adam? We'll start with you, that the demand is real and he's not just saying that to say that.
I 100% believe him because of what's happening right now with ChatGPT. I know from a fact a lot of people in the corporate world are getting screwed because they're putting in corporate data into ChatGPT, not realizing ChatGPT is like a Google. It's taking all your information, and they're getting in trouble. Samsung just stopped it, right? They said you can't use it. I believe 3 people from Chase, JP Morgan got hit with that, like employees. So I do believe because of ChatGPT, everyone's using it literally for everything, and companies are like, yo, how do we get a ChatGPT for us? And as per ChatGPT in my video, ChatGPT literally said, Palantir and us is not the same, the AIP. We're different. However, Palantir for businesses is as revolutionary as ChatGPT is for us. So yes, in that context, 100%, I do believe that people are literally running to him and saying, yo, how do we set up a ChatGPT? They're not even saying IAP. They're probably like, we want ChatGPT for our business. Can you do that? I guarantee you that's what they're saying. Can you give us ChatGPT for our business? They don't even give a shit about AIP. And he's like, yeah, there you go. My 2 cents.
I agree. 100% agreed. Another big quote. Alex Carp during the Palantir Q&A about AI says, I don't want to make my answer overly philosophical, but in some ways I prefer it. To me, when he goes on his little monologue about AI and philosophy, I know everyone, I feel like me, Adam, you and me are like the only ones that don't give him a lot of shit about being philosophical. This is when you need to be philosophical. Like this AI conversation, and Chris, I want to get your thoughts on this. Do you think it is really necessary for him to talk about the legal and ethical implications for this product in particular? And do you think there is enough analysts in the world that will understand why he gets into the philosophical parts of this, even though there's no real business value to that stuff?
Yeah. One of the things is about 10 years ago, most people, when they got technology, they didn't even consider this part of the like requirements that, hey, the software has to have certain, guardrails around it, has to be a certain thing. Like the privacy concerns were not really a thing. You don't need to have a lot of auditing features to see who's logging in and doing all this other stuff. But as people and companies have modernized, they've realized that you're going to need tools to do that, right? So yeah, I think Palantir is actually has a big moat because they've already developed everything around it. So think of it this way: one of the use cases we are looking at, like the ChatGPT, I know they call it AIP. You want to be able to find out how the answer came about. So if you ask a question, hey, X, Y, and Z, the answer that comes out is great, but you also kind of want to see, like, how did you come to that answer? Because I need to track back and see if it's something that's valid or if I need to modify the data or whatever in the background. So yeah, I think Palantir's ahead on this one. So hopefully they're able to capitalize.
Yeah, and I think Scribemo in the chat makes a good point. 100%, this is too cutting edge and world ending to not be philosophical. This is why when Elon said, let's pause AI, Carp was like, look, I agree, it's too powerful, but Russia and China are not pausing AI. There are American companies, ironically, funding, OpenAI competitors in China and Russia. So, like, we've really got to make sure we have a stranglehold on this for the for the protection of our democracy. And that's not trying to fearmonger. That's like legit, given what we've seen over the past 10 months. Another big quote from Karp. Adam, what's your thoughts on this? Our goal for AI is to just take the whole market. We have no pricing strategy. What did you feel when he said that?
Listen, I love it. I honestly think Karp shifted. We called it a while ago. Around 4 months ago, I was saying it, that he hired a marketing team, a public relations team, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And he's playing the game. He's basically telling everybody, you guys can go fuck yourselves. Fuck around and find out. We're going to whoop your ass. And there's no chance whatsoever you guys are going to compete. Now he's just shifting the narrative. That's all. He's like implanting seeds in your mind. That's what I think. And I think that's the most gangster answer possible. He's like, who gives a fuck the price? We're taking over everything. Fuck Snowflake. That's what I heard.
And, you know, the reason he's able to say that, again, it's kind of like me sometimes. I don't have the results yet to prove it the way Karp does. But when I talk about my startup and in the context of the things that I'm doing, there's a certain level of confidence I have because I know the difference between me and the competitors. Like, I know that. Again, I'm not at the level of Palantir where I've put up massive results and I've proven it, but I know the difference. I think Karp, not only has he proven it with the demand he's seeing, but again, this is so important to remember. The reason they can actually take over the whole market is because they've spent 20 years building the technology that has kept privacy, civil liberties, data regulation, and governance at the core of their tech. This is something the 1,600 people here, you've got to understand this if you're a Palantir investor. This is technology. Everyone says they've been around for 20 years. It's blah, blah, blah. What were they doing for those 20 years? I mean, you've really got to ask yourself that question. And if they were doing stuff that the CIA ended up saying, hey, we need this because we just had an attack called 9/11 and we don't want that shit to happen again, then maybe what they were doing was actually pretty important. ChatGPT is just a user interface. It's just a little search box where you type something into it, and that's because OpenAI popularized that. So it's really right timing, but years of strategy to take a user interface that is taking over the world and put it on top of all the back-end infrastructure, which is why their defense AIP showed what they're actually doing in the back-end with ontologies and LLMs to be able to come up with those results and make it work for customers and enterprises. That's why they can take over the whole damn market, and they're not worried about price, because if they're saving you a lot of money, they're making your business efficient, it doesn't matter the price.
I wanted to say one thing, and maybe it's a stretch over here, but at the same day, they're talking in front of the Congressional Committee about artificial intelligence and warfare. At the same day, his colleague, Shyam's colleague, was talking in UK Parliament about the same thing, AI and warfare and stuff like that, right? Our military in the United States has a problem. It's on a downhill swirl. Woke is broke. Chris will know what I'm talking about because I have a lot of people in the military. For the first time ever, they cannot recruit enough people because everyone's worried about, feelings as opposed to military.
And again, real quick, in the context of feelings, people are afraid to say they are working for an evil white supremacist country in part of their military, which is why they're not joining, right? That's what you're talking about in terms of this. Go ahead.
That and sensitivity training instead of military training. And we have a lot of pieces of technology that are not being utilized. Anyways, so how do you fix this? Either you recruit more people or you make people more effective and more effective with less knowledge. So how effective are you in your personal lives? I know you use ChatGPT all the time, Amit. I do all the time, and I stack it with different AIs. Basically, I'm a college professor. Like anything I need, I have, right? And if you know how to use it as a tool. So to make the military more capable, you got to give them the tools to make them more capable. What are the tools? AIP can be that tool. Now, they're in front of the UK Parliament, they're in front of the Congressional Committee, and they're talking about regulations. I believe there are going to be regulations for artificial intelligence that quite possibly Palantir is going to be one of the only ones that's going to be able to push AI products because they're going to be, you know how you have a level 6 clearance? They're going to have clearances for artificial intelligence to be used at the highest levels of military. And that's the way in. It's just all making sense. I mean, maybe it's a stretch.
So the guy who was I listened to the entire discussion with Courtney Bowman, because Courtney Bowman was in the UK Defense Ministry conversation. And let me tell you,
that one that Arnie put up on his channel?
Yeah, that guy
was a great one. That was a great one.
He is smart. Like, you could tell that this guy knows what he's talking about, and he was schooling every single one of them in there. I just want to say one thing about and just a comment about the military thing. Yes, there is a definite move towards including a lot of things that normally wouldn't necessarily equate to the military, and it's a lot more overt now. Like back in the day, You know, we had gay people serving in the army with us. We knew there was a guy that was gay. But here's the thing. No one was like, oh my God, this guy's going to try to rape us in the middle of the night or something, right? If anything, we used to love this guy because it's like, bro, who else is going to fucking die for you? The dude that loves you, bro. So I never had a problem with anyone gay in the military and all that. But what it is when you keep highlighting it, you stress that is the core focus of your recruiting, it turns a lot of people off. And yeah. And the other thing is that I think more concerning than the gay thing, though, and the transgender thing is the attack on white people. Like, if you look at where the majority of the people that come in the military serve from, they're Southern white people. Like a lot of people.
Yeah.
So you can't be like every single person that comes is like, oh yeah, you have privilege. It's like, bro, I grew up in a fucking trailer park with a single mom. Like, what fucking privilege do I have? You know, that's the kind of logic that you can't use and paint everyone just based on the skin color. That's like the dumbest fucking thing. So yeah, if they've got recruitment issues, it's because it's self-inflicted.
One quick sentence on that, and we can move on. So, nothing wrong, transgender, gay, nothing wrong. Everybody can do whatever they want with their life. That's the whole point of the United States. My issue is you don't need to highlight exactly what Chris is saying. Like, yo, you don't need a separate barracks for that. You don't need to do sensitivity training for 2 hours to talk about how to act. At the end of the day, you all have guns. You guys all have each other's back. That's it. It's a non-issue. It's literally a non-issue. It's only an issue because people are making it an issue, and you're wasting time. The drill sergeants are wasting time. You can't call sir or ma'am anymore to drill sergeants. Like, bro, are you crazy? Like, you can't say it no more. And this is what they're pushing. Anyways, that's my take on that. America.
S&P 500. That's our last topic for this one. Thank you, 1,500 people, for still being here. Real quick, 10 p.m., Finance Junkies. It's a podcast. You're going to enjoy it. We're going to be here breaking down Palantir earnings. There's 2 bears that love to sit in their little bear cave on that podcast. You guys are going to love today's podcast. S&P 500 seems like we're getting in early 2024. Chris, raw thoughts on what that means for the stock before we get into the S&P.
Look at the other companies that have gotten into the S&P and what happened to their stock prices after. That's all I'm going to say. All you have to do is look at company prior to joining S&P, company after joining the S&P, and where are they today? That's all.
Adam, thoughts on the S&P?
First, I want to say me and you predicted it correctly, right? We had a hypothesis. We were both thinking the same, way, and it turns out that as well. Pat ourselves on the back. That's good. If there was any questions that we're going towards S&P 500, and there's any questions that they completely shifted gears to this new narrative of let's play nice with Wall Street, while still saying, hey, we're outsiders. Now they're playing the game, right? Like, oh, we're the outsiders. Yeah. But they're not. They're trying to get in, right? And make people feel bad for them. They're making a story. They are saying 100%, if you guys didn't figure it out yet with the letter, and your name is not Amit, then we are going in the S&P 500. That is where we're going. And as Chris said, all companies up. And this should probably get a lot of people that are going to be interested, institutional investors, in Palantir. And, double digits up when you hit the S&P 500, leading up. Not the day of, right?
And
leading
Tesla was
up.
40% a month before they officially got
in. But it's more so everything put together. The narrative is shifting. If you guys play poker, shifting gears. That's exactly what happened. We completely shifted gears, and yeah, that's what's up. I'm super stoked. Super stoked.
Yeah. Look, my final thoughts. Last quarter, getting GAAP profitable was a big indication. They decided to really become fiscally responsible and make 2023 their year versus 2025. This quarter, saying they will be GAAP profitable consecutively. Introducing AIP because the tech was ready. Luck is really opportunity plus timing. You've worked hard. Now it's your opportunity. They got their opportunity. They took advantage of it. They built it, as Sham said, within days. And now it's going out into the world. Demand for that product is increasing. And that shareholder letter, plus this entire call, plus the earnings report basically said, the demand for this thing is going to make us bigger than what you guys can imagine. And we plan to take over the whole market. We just need to have time to execute. And then finally on the financials, 60% increase in booking value. Stock-based compensation already on pace to be down more than 30% year over year. I mean, like, this is something where, and I got to go deeper to the numbers. Maybe there be international growth, international CAGR being less than 10%. That's the only thing where it's like, it sucks. And honestly, Carp can't really control that. The international markets, They're international markets. It's a little bit harder. Hopefully they can figure out what they have to do. As Carp said, he's going to cut costs there. If they can grow that to at least 15% by the end of the year, I would be happy. But U.S. commercial, as David Glaser, the CFO, said, is what's going to get them GAAP profitability. And then they got to do all the rest of the stuff to sustain that, and then eventually get institutional investors to come in by the end of 2023 as they enter the S&P 500. So I think this is a bullish earnings call. We got a lot more to go through, a lot more to analyze throughout the next week. But I'm excited. And I think that the market has reflected that, being up about 20%.
Yeah, the one thing he did say that towards the end of the year, SBC is going to go up a little bit, but that's probably because if they're working on expanding and everything else, that means that they're going to have to hire some people and pay out some SBC. So yeah, SBC might go up.
Great. So, yeah. So if they can keep, it's down at 91 million right now. So if they can keep it down for a couple quarters and then increase it towards the end, maybe it balances out like 15% decrease, which is not the worst idea. So.
Yeah.
All right. That's it, everybody. Thank you for the 1,400 people still here. Please follow the Twitter. Chris is on Twitter. Adam is on Twitter. I'll put all those in the description as this ends. Means a lot. Thank you guys for joining. Finance Junkies tonight, 10 p.m. Palantir Weekly. We will talk to you guys, and throughout the whole week, we'll have more coverage. We'll see you then, everybody. Have a great one.
Take care.
Good night.